dealer's choice, baby, as this market gets to the downside. Thanks, Obi. It's Sharif. Let's go futures as they're making new lows right now. Now I can get excited about the short finally because we in it, baby. All right, Sharif, let's go. It's 11:02. Ciao. It's Midday Madness.
Wow, look at that.
Boom! There you boys get ready. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy, Joey Dang Options. And we're going to mute what's going on in our ear. And we're going to bring in the chat. Shout everybody out. Jasmine, Jesus, Jerry, Vodka. No idea what you're talking about, man. My mate Cleveland steamed a Jasmine once. I have no idea what that means. It seems interesting. The Katina man understands it. I'm going to pretend like I don't understand Katina man, which I don't. Tez, Johnson, we got Clement, we got Patrick. How about Bold, CompuCare? Wow, boom, CompuCare team. I have not seen you in a hot minute. Welcome back. We got Daniel Vargas. We got Vern. Sports and Stonks. Love that. We got Juiced. We got Abd. Jimmy Leonardo. The Corleone family. Mata Trador. Nephew with a capital P. We got my man Zeke and Catmandu. How about Vishal? I used to have a friend as a kid named Vishal. Daryl Finch. Bold. Stock Up. Diggity. Jacobs. Bovin. My man Bovin's in the house. Oscarito. John. Doka, By Killer COD, DJ Reski. Okay. We got Indeed Money, Got Rats, Rainmaker, Nathan, Taylor, JF Trader, Alexander K, and Sam L. We got Parabolic FOMO Drip. That is sick. Charles Murphy, Donnie Zimbabwe. That's a Chad OG right there. Who else? We got the main OG, J Dang Lee, a.k.a. Boyle, UNG Trader. Shout out to Jay. Got Kalua. Who else? We got Jose Gonzalez. Uplift Markets. Last but not least, Fila 07. Used to love that shoe. Did you ever have any Fila shoes?
Yeah, I used to have a pair.
Those were great, bro.
Yeah, remember when
sick.
Didn't Fendi team up with Fila?
They did. I'm pretty sure they did. The double Fs there.
Did I own any? No.
No, neither did I. I didn't own any. I've never owned Fendi.
No,
Never had Fendi in my life.
What I used to buy was a lot of not a lot. Armani was probably some of them.
Yeah, Armani's sick, bro. Armani's sick.
Georgia. Not Emporio, Georgia.
Hey. Okay. Clarification. Yeah. Shout out to everybody else in the chat. Joseph, good morning, my man. What do we got?
Yeah, I mean, guys, CPI.
Talking today.
Listening.
Strategy. Joe's mic's going to get fixed right now. Will not be too much longer. So we're going to start a new series of lessons. We're talking about gap and go strategy. So let's get right down to it. The gap and go strategy is a popular technique for day traders capitalizing on price gaps between a security's closing price. So a security's closing price one day and its opening price the next day. Here's a breakdown of the key concept as we always do. Let's start from a high level and get nuanced as we go. So gaps occur when the opening price doesn't follow the usual trading pattern. There are two main types of gaps. A gap up. So the price opens significantly higher than the previous day's close, suggesting bullish momentum. It doesn't have to be significantly, it just gaps up above yesterday's opening price. And then there's a gap down, kind of the opposite of that. Obviously, the price opens lower than the previous day's close, suggesting bearish momentum. And here we are. This is a gap up. This is the nifty bank. I guess back in the day, back in 18 or so, we were trading at whatever 34,680 rupees, I'm assuming. And then boom goes the dynamite. We open up much, much higher. And look at that. We continue on our merry way and we actually defend the gap. So that's a gap up. Conversely, obviously, most of us know the gap down. There's the nifty again at 35,350 and then tank below right back into 35.1. That's kind of what it looks like on a chart. Why does it work? The gap and go strategy assumes the price movement causing the gap will continue into the opening session. So there's a reason why this thing gapped up. There's a reason why it gapped down. The assumption goes that that news catalyst, which caused it to gap up or down, continues throughout the trading day. For example, a positive earnings report might lead to a gap up, obviously, because we know reports come in usually either in the morning or in the aftermarket the day prior, with traders anticipating the price to keep on rising. So we get that good earnings report in the morning. It gaps up like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., or the previous day at 4 p.m., whatever. And then 9:30 comes and we ring the bell and it continues to make higher highs and higher lows. It's never quite that clean. It's never quite that easy, obviously. From trading, we know that. But that is the idea behind the strategy. So identifying these gaps. So you can use a pre-market scanner. It's a good way to do it. I know Obe uses it. I use it. I don't know who else on the floor uses it, but pre-market scanners help you identify what's gapping up. In fact, I use the gap scanner for my small cap gap. Bless you, Joseph. All right. Thank you, Adair. And then so identifying these gaps, you're looking for stocks with sizable gaps. And, you know, sizable can mean different things to different people. Personally, for large caps, I'm looking 2 to 4% gap. If I'm looking for my small cap gappers, usually I like double digits, 10 and up, okay, in the pre-market. But as always, confirmation is key. And we're just introducing the concept. We've got 4 more lessons like this to talk about different strategies for the gap and go. So we're going to be super, kind of not detailed, the opposite of detailed, super general with it today. So confirmation is key. Not all gaps are created equal. You're looking for additional confirmation of the trend. What additional confirmation are you looking for? Volume. My man Joseph loves volume. Higher trading volume alongside the gap strengthens the move's validity. You're also looking for news and events. Why are we gapping up? What is the strength of that news? Is it light? I mean, is it something that we could definitely turn back on, or is it something concrete, like an actual business decision that the company's taken, or is it kind of in flux, maybe not kind of situation, okay? So the gap and go strategy basically like that. The entry and exit, how do we trade this bad boy? So your breakout entry, right? You want to enter the trade after the price decisively breaks above or for gaps, or below for gaps down, a key level like the pre-market high, the pre-market low. Oftentimes you'll hear me say with these small cap gappers, I will not trade them until they're above the pre-market high. There's a couple of reasons why I do that for small caps that are not really that specific for large caps. But yeah, that is one methodology to make sure that that pre-market high has been taken out and we're not, kind of trending down off that initial gap up, right? Because the 4 a.m. print comes, we're like $2, $3 higher than the 8 p.m. print the previous day in the aftermarket, and then we kind of trend down. If you want to look at what that kind of situation looks like, look at the Chinese ADRs. Oftentimes, they gap up relative to the previous day's close, and then they start trending down, filling the gap, so to speak. And your stop loss placement here. Always have a stop loss in order to limit potential losses. Place the stop below the gap for long positions for gaps up and above the gap for short positions, which are your gaps down, okay? How do you take profit and exit? What are the strategies here? There are no hard and fast rules for profit taking. You can consider the following factors. Your target price. Set a realistic target profit level based on technical indicators or chart patterns. So you're looking for key areas of support or resistance north of that gap up or south of that gap down where the price might reject or bounce off. You should be doing, obviously, TA to identify key areas of support and resistance. Volatility as well matters in volatile markets like the ones we're in right now. Take profits sooner to secure those gains. You saw that Katina Man and monster longs that were fantastic all morning. Then all of a sudden, you know what hit the fan, and the NQ is down from over 1%. We're barely holding on to Greensville. So these volatile markets, wet your beak, take your profits, and get the hell out of there. I'm kidding. Trailing stops, okay? Gradually adjust your stop loss to lock in profits as the price moves in your favor. I'll submit to you probably a good idea in volatile markets as things can change quite quickly. And just to wrap up here, guys, remember the risks. The gap and go strategy can be profitable, but it carries inherent risks. There is the ever-present danger of false breakouts. The price might not continue in the direction of the gap, leading to losses. Like today, we had a whole bunch of different stocks that gapped up. And I have 2 columns on my watch list. The change percentage from 4 a.m. and the change percentage from 9:30 after the bell. Almost all my big tech and my semiconductors are red from the bell onwards. I'm just going to have to show this if I can. So this is column. This is the change percentage column. You can see some of it's green. And then this is the change percentage since open. Look at all this. Redsville. So these gaps are getting filled, especially in these volatile markets. Keep that in mind. And then, yeah, the gap fill. Sometimes the price might reverse course and fill the gap entirely, negating the trade. So keep that in mind when you're trading these gap and go strategies. I hope everybody prints up a storm, Joseph.
Hey, yeah, good stuff there, guys. We're in some TQs. Looking for the bottom, catching falling knives is a little bit trickier here in these bloody markets, guys. So this is what we got cooking up today on the TQs. We did get a little pop here in the morning, but unfortunately, like Sharif just said, we just faded everything off relatively quick. I don't know what I did there, but okay, we'll figure it out, and we'll pull it up on the 5-minute chart here, guys. So you can see that I was added to the position nicely, and then I took about like 20-30% out there, and then got stopped out break even, and point well taken there, Sharif, because you got to take those profits quick, because every pop here is getting faded, and this has been the narrative for the past couple weeks. And it's like, Joseph, get your head around it and start listening to what you should be doing. You're not going to get those extended moves right now. No one necessarily wants to put risk on. When we get those pops, it's more or less a cover rally, and then they just get faded right away. So then we took another attempt here, guys, added to the position, looking for the touch of this resistance zone. And then it just dumped and took another leg lower. So I did take a loss on that. Unfortunately, added pretty heavy right there. Looking for that move back to the volume weighted average price, but it did not work out. But that's okay. We're not going to cry over spilled milk now, are we? I had no idea what I did there, guys. So I'm going to have to reload the chart on the 1 minute, hoping that we can get another bounce here in the TQs. We will monitor the 5-minute, or I can switch this one up here. There we go. So we're in here. If we come past here, I'm just going to get out of the trade. I did take a little bit off, so I'm going up against one of my rules here of stopping out break even, especially if now this is a winning trade. If we breach that, then I just made a winning trade, a losing one, and that's not necessarily something that we want to do. But I wanted to point out as well, guys, is that check 470 if you have your options chain available. Today's expiration cycle, the TQs, look at 470 and how much open interest is in there, so you can get that magnet effect, and then you get that the opposite. You get the repelling of that once you run into those levels and there isn't enough liquidity, or there's not a big enough participant to absorb it all and then head it a little bit more south. So 470 on the TQs is what I am looking for there, guys. Apple continuing to bleed. I know Sandy in the chat, or Sandra in the chat was like, hey Joe, I took that bear call spread. Well, you probably collected the most amount of premium now that you could possibly collect, because we are continuing to move lower and lower. 245 within a month. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. We are now breaking through some support levels. We marked these out the other day, guys, so now breaching through and then heading more to the downside and to the south side. If we punch through 215, I mentioned that there's a lot of open interest at 210 for this week's expiration cycle, so be weary of that. At this pace, we can definitely get there, because throughout the whole week, Sharif, we had to start at 235, now trading down to 215, which is not pretty here in some of these big names. I just want to note as well, too, before I send it back off to Sharif, is that when I'm trading the TQs, right, we gotta, me personally, I like to monitor the Mag 7, right, because they're so heavily weighted in it. So today I was looking at Microsoft, NVIDIA, Apple, Amazon, Google, and you can see that when they're all just moving in their own ways and they're not necessarily moving in tandem, you can just get an effect, and the overall market tends to trade and be heavily correlated with one of them. And I was looking at Microsoft today, and it seems to be that it's somewhat correlated with Microsoft, and it has the inability to have any form of pop, and that's not very good here. So those bears not quite exhausted yet here, guys. So selling in still full effect, and be wary, because those pops aren't going to go very high here, Sharif.
All right, I just fat fingered out of CRVO, so I just got back in, a couple of pennies off now. I had 55s or 52s, got out at 58, kind of a fat finger mistake there. We'll hope to do a little bit better. Now I had to punch back in, long back 58s, layering the outs. Let's see if this one wants to pop and hold the 10 exponential moving average. I'm talking about CRVO. It's the #1 gapper in small cap gapper land, up 133%, 129% since the open. So this one wasn't trading all that much in the pre-market. In fact, I'm seeing the great majority of its volume really come in right at 9:30. So we'll see if this one can hold the bid, and if it can, does it hold these technical areas where I'm trying to get in. Right now it's dancing with a 10 exponential moving average, which is currently at around, say, 529, maybe be a little bit south of that, so we'll see if we can get something, another move to the high side here. VWAP, though, on CRVO, basically 475, 480. That is going to be another area of importance for me. So if we give way at the 10 exponential moving average, I'll be looking to set back up between 5 and 480, 475, give or take. So we'll see exactly what we'll get there. We're already out of the money. I don't want to DCA aggressively into this, so I'm getting out over here as it breaks down, so we'll take an L there, but I will set up at 5 and then again at 480. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to sit at 505, and I'm also going to sit at 480 as well. So I'm going to actually sit a little bit higher than 480. We'll see if we can get something in and around there. So those are what I perceive to be the money fills. If it breaks down below the volume weighted average price, that is the end of the trade. So I won't be trading this below VWAP. So CRVO, big mover on the day, 654 HOD, but it's well below that level. It's $1.50 almost below that level. Waiting to see if I can get filled at 505s. It's still dipping down, lower lows, lower highs, breaching the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So that is kind of what I'm looking at now, CRVO. There are others. I'm also looking at GRPN. I'm also looking at ASM. So these ones, ASM light on volume, likely won't trade that one, about 3.4 million shares on a dollar name. That's kind of bupkis. But GRPN, about 5 million shares, a little bit lighter than that on a $12 name, a little bit better there. GRPN putting in incrementally higher highs and higher lows and a predictable area of support off VWAP. So I will be looking to get in on the volume weighted average price because that's what GRPN has shown me it's respecting on the day. Back to CRVO, that's where I've got my order set. Let's see, now we're dipping down into 5. So I'm waiting at 05s. It's showing me 9s and 10s, not quite dipping down there. I don't want to be quick to jump in. Why? I don't want to ruin my cost basis, but I also don't want this one to be a quick breach of the 10 and then it reclaims it and I don't have anything. So here we go. Now we're filled and now the blood is coming back down, but this is predictable for me. So I've 505 my entry and I've got another area defend here at 482. Let's see if we can get anything to the high side. First and foremost, let's set up those orders to the high side in case this one pops back up, which I'm good with. Otherwise, I'm going to wait for that 482 dip trade on CRVO. Let's also look now at GRPN. So the volume weighted average price on my chart on GRPN is about 1287. I'm going to front run that. So I'm going to put it at like 1292, something like that, to basically front run any possible size in and around there. So I've put GRPN dip trade right now. This is a VWAP dip trade. So if GRPN fails VWAP, I want nothing to do with it. It's going to have to hold that level. As I mentioned, ASM, it's got a fantastic looking chart pattern. Don't get me wrong, it's up 16% on the day, but the volume is a little sus. And so I'm just going to stay away from that one. Joseph, what do you got over there?
Yeah, same thing here. Sharif, we're starting to kick off here in the TQs. A nice bounce. Hey. We had the bottoming signals, multiple at that. I didn't know if we were going to continue to bleed here, guys, because in this market, as you can see, we take about 75 to 80% of this position off. But what I should have done here is I should have added to this position, but I did not. I was just not focusing enough. But this is what we got to do. I took this loss here, which is unfortunate. I should have been out significantly earlier here, guys. As a matter of fact, when I added, I should have been out in the middle of this range, and that's what you have to do when you increase your share size, especially in this market, regardless of the environment. When you do add to those positions, that is going to lift that stop higher, and I didn't abide by that. Took a little bit of a hefty haircut on that one, digging into some of those gains from that previous trade, but that's okay. But what I should have done is I should have added as we engulfed this candle right here, and you can see that we held this base and a key support level. But what I was really trading off was this volume signature, guys. You can see it on this time frame a little bit clearer, but continuing to make an additional leg down. So we got leg 1 here, leg 2, whatever it may be, and then we have this bottoming signal, outlier volume signature that has been the largest since about 10 o'clock this morning. So I'm like, okay, this is where we're going to get the bounce. But as we hold those levels and we hold this base right here, this is where you got to add into this position to make this winner as big as possible. And unfortunately, I didn't do that. And as I was taking the share size, it's funny enough that I'm like, I know this is going to work, and I have the smallest amount of shares put on for the day, and it turns out to be one of the better trades. So it is what it is, and sometimes you just got to deal with those types of things. But let me know what you guys are looking at the chat. We'll go over a couple names. I had 3 stocks on my list. It was NVDA, Tesla, in IBIT this morning. IBIT didn't work out. CPI coming in a little bit cooler than expected. And I thought, hey, maybe we're going to continue this rally. But this market environment, I think it's just good news, even though, well, if you take this 2.8 or 2.9% print a year and a half ago, the market is rallying. Now that we know that we have tariffs looming and everything along those lines from a macro standpoint, it's like, oh, okay, the economy is cooling down. Maybe it's not that good. So maybe the good news is back to bad news. I don't know. Got to be patient and wait for those certain things. But I was talking with my good buddy Greg V the other day, or this morning actually. I'm like, hey, we're both waiting for Tesla 300 to get out. But that doesn't mean we're necessarily not going to get back in. We want to wait for a couple of things. Robotoxy, I was listening to Ron Barron yesterday. Sharif, he was saying some positive things. He's been in the name since like 2014 or whatever it may be. Yeah. So I like, obviously you got to listen. The guy's a billionaire and everything. So, and he said he's invested for the long term. He likes where Robotaxi is going and a lot of like key statistics that he was referring to. So he's not overly too worried about what's going on with Tesla right now. But my issue is just being, obviously I like Elon, but I don't own Tesla shares for him to be the head of Doge. I own him to be, to run, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm getting
sir.
at, though.
Hey, you're not wrong, bro.
So like, it's again, like if I were to be like, hey, you want to buy these Tesla shares, and somebody's like, hold on, he's going to be 80% Doge and then maybe focus a little bit here on Tesla, I'd be like, nah, I'll sit back a little bit, maybe let that robo fleet get in and then let him get hyper-focused again and back into Tesla. But that's just where I stand on that name. There's no doubt, without a question, I'll be back into it. I would like to get out and then get back in maybe at lower prices. But here we go, guys. Starting to climb higher here on the TQs. I think we're going to run into this resistance zone right around 620. That's where we're going to look to take the majority of the position off. We don't have too much left, unfortunately. So I'll hold this. This base may act as resistance, and beware because we're selling these resistance pops, guys. So unless we can get that momentum to continue to kick in, nice engulfing candles here on the 1 minute and volume to step in as well too, and then maybe we can punch in and tap right back into VWAP there, Sharif.
All right, I'm just setting up a few orders up on this bad boy over here. Oh, goodness.
Oh, no.
Oh, I keep making mistakes. All right, yeah, let's get right back in. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. There we go. So we shall do that. Just made a mistake on HSAI. Meant to put a profit taker, ended up taking an out. So that was a mistake there. So short HSAI. I was talking to Joseph about this. I'm like, why don't I short these small cap gappers? I mean, a lot of them, they ended up fading, especially with the weakness in the market. So that's exactly what I'm doing. We're short HSAI. We're doing real well though on CRVO, about 40 pennies in the money over here. Let's take another beak wetter right here as we hang out towards these area highs. So CRVO bouncing off 5. I didn't get my 482 DCA. I didn't get my 460, or I was front running it 61 DCA. So we'll go unfilled on that one, but I'm going to leave them active because I still think these are relevant levels that I can possibly use. But so we'll keep that one in mind. Now, having a look right now at HSAI. We're short 93s. My out on this one is 22.25. Okay, so I perceive there to be resistance at 22.20. I was going to see the reason I got short at 22 is I want to use that whole dollar level as possible resistance, but price action resistance to me is around 22.20. So I've given it a bit of room to 22.25. I'm looking to ride the trend down on HSAI. This one was a strong one yesterday. It's down almost 9% today. So that's what. We'll keep an eye out on that. Stop. We'll keep an eye out on that one. Where is my first beak wetter on this after the fat finger? Yeah, okay, there. I like that there. So we'll leave it at 85s. We'll see if we can get something in and around there. But CRVO is just going, bro. Here we go. We're going to take that beak wetter at the top over here. Very pleased with this trade on CRVO.
Short what, buddy? Short what small cap?
I know. Well, this one was a lot. Right, yeah, this one's a lot. HSAI might get me in trouble, Joseph. Maybe I shouldn't have been shorting these bad boys. But no, seriously, though. CRVO back up to the top side. Good defend to 5. I mean, I didn't have my full position here, so we're still going to be negative on it. Full disclosure, because we took this initially long, and then I had to stop out short. So we definitely made some money back on this one, but I'm definitely not letting it off the hook. Have I said definitely enough? Now I'm going to keep my eye on this one for sure. If it wants to come back into 5 or to the volume weighted average price, I'm a buyer. All that said, and all the hype that I just kind of hyped this up, we're still putting in lower highs. So if you're looking at that area crest on CRVO at 10:55, that's the high of the day at 6:54. Subsequent to that at 11, we now have another area crest at 6:37, and now we're below 6 right now. So it's lower high, lower high, lower high. Adara, we got breaking news. Tell us.
You may like this one, Sharif, because it is about MindMed. MindMed getting a bit of a move here. This is MNMD. I'm seeing this headline coming through from the Marijuana Moment circulating on X. Apparently, MindMed has a resolution here calling on Congress to reschedule psychedelics and streamline research. So some research and rescheduling resolutions here apparently being put forward by MindMed as Nevada senators take up this resolution calling on Congress to reschedule psychedelics and streamline research. Yet it sounds like this is not being led by MindMed, but they'd certainly benefit if this resolution comes to pass. Back to you.
That's a good look there.
Yeah.
It was like $4 in the money on this one, and now I'm like 10 pennies in the money.
All right, that's all right.
Yeah, right back down into sixes, Joseph. Hey?
It sounds like spready ticker.
Is it actually? I haven't even looked at it.
Yeah.
Adara said it sounds like a spready ticker.
No,
I'm like,
spready ticker life.
Spready
those
ticker
were
life.
life,
Got it.
right?
Gotcha.
So you're in there, you're in and out of there. So yeah, here we go, guys. So here we go. We're all at TQs now. Unfortunately, I didn't size enough for this trade. I mentioned before about holding those levels and making those winners as big as possible. It's funny because on these attempts, it's like you try and then you do so here. But you don't get any continuation on this name. You get stopped out here. And then the one that actually works out, you're like, you hear me and Obi saying this off. I didn't have enough size, and that is the case. So, but a nice recover rally here going on in the markets, guys. It looks like that was a bottoming signal. One positive note here is that NVDA has been hovering around the volume weighted average price. So maybe we can get an entry around there and continue somewhat of a rally. But I'll pull up my notes right now, and I want to take it in. I want you guys to take in. It's just like I was watching the Camarilla pivot points, and you can see that I have on my notes. It's like, okay, Tesla sitting, R4 sitting at 241, Nvidia 112.76. What was the high there? And then IBIT at 48.70, which IBIT unfortunately didn't get to those levels. But you can see we have a high of about 116 on NVDA, punched through that R4 pivot, and then just came right back down. So hovering around that level, maybe we can get a continued bounce, but it's already done that traverse from R4 to R6, unfortunately. So the chances of it happening again are a little bit slimmer now, but we'll take it for what it is. I do believe that we are in oversold conditions, and anything can happen. If people really start to cover, now you can get that cover rally, and then you can kind of get into squeeze territory, and that's when people start getting liquidated, all the shorts and everything along those lines. I'm a little ahead of myself, but that's okay. You got to think ahead, right? That's what the market is. They're forward thinking, and that's what I'm trying to do. So nice look here on the TQs. Gonna wait for NVDA to set up correctly, and then we might get involved on that one, but I need the MAG to get involved as well too. Microsoft still relatively weak, but we'll pack our patience. We will sit here, hold our horses, and wait to pounce like a tiger when the opportunity arises. But let's see what A is up to.
Sir.
We have to keep an eye here on QBTS. Some people in the chat were asking why this is halted. I couldn't find a reason. We had a press conference earlier today. Now, 2 minutes ago, they put out another news release. So looks to me like it could be a news pending halt. They're still halted. It's worth noting, but the halt that we were all waiting for, the moment we're all waiting for, what they announced here with this halt, apparently D-Wave is going to be the first to demonstrate quantum supremacy on a useful real-world problem. What problem? I can't really see. I guess apparently they're working on this right now. It's a new landmarked peer-review paper. So keep an eye here on D-Wave getting a paper studied on it. I guess it's the first to demonstrate quantum supremacy with an actual problem that could be useful in the real world. So keep an eye on QBTS. Again, still halted, but we have had this news release now, so it does look like it was a news pending halt potentially. It is also about a 21% short flow, guys. Back to you.
Mind having quantum supremacy.
No, yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I'd feel pretty good about myself.
Same. So would I. Supremacy. Supreme leader.
Supreme. Who are you, the Ayatollah, bro?
This is the Ayatollah.
Well, that's what his name is. He's the Ayatollah Supreme Leader.
The Supreme Leader.
He's
eh?
supreme, Joseph.
Oh, wow. That's
Some,
there's this, I know there's this like somewhere in the Middle East. There's this country that has a dictatorship, and they're only allowed
all
driving.
Middle Eastern
No, but it's a little more intense here. But you're only allowed
say it.
driving white cars. It's great. Yeah, and all the buildings are white. Yeah, I forget the
I didn't
country's
actually
name.
know
Yeah.
this.
So it's every car, like you see this country, every building is marble white, and every single car on the road is white. It's pretty crazy.
I didn't know this. Someone let me know what this is. This is really interesting. Adara, do a deep dive.
It's not North Korea.
No, this is really interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
In the Middle East, it's more about the license plate. If you have like a super low number, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
They sold like the number 3 or 4 like a while ago for it was like a couple $1,000,000 or something.
Dude, the license plate is worth more than the car.
Yeah, that's
and it's
crazy.
like a Bugatti that
but it's actually a pretty cool system if you think about it. It might be
Turkmenistan. Yeah,
it
that's
is
not the Middle East.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah,
okay,
it's like Asia.
Is it okay? Closer to I guess Kazakhstan. The only reason I know Kazakhstan is because of Borat. So
good times. We're on the show. We're ad-libbing. Everything's good, baby.
Turkmenistan. See, they know about it. They know about it.
Shout out to you, Joe. I didn't even know that, but I actually did know that. It just didn't hit because you said Middle East. I don't know. I don't
geographically inclined.
Yeah, everybody else knows exactly what you're talking about there. Everybody knew what was going on.
This is crazy.
All right, guys. Here's the deal. We're involved in a bunch of trades, but I want to talk about CRVO because it just did a very insane move. So this 5-minute candle is engulfing all the 1, 2, 3, 4 previous 5-minute candles that came before it, both from the upside and the downside. It has a new high and a new low. So CRVO is all over the dang place right now, but it is finding support at the volume weighted average price. In addition to that 5. I don't know which way the cookie crumbles on this one, but it's awfully volatile. It's giving you a lot of opportunity. I personally would feel a lot more comfortable watching this bad boy take out the high of the day so I don't have that ever-present danger of those bag holders from 6 1/4 to 6 1/2, trying to keep us down. So that's what we're looking at right now. We're doing real well, though, man, on our short on HSAI. And I don't even short these small cap gappers. But I said to Joseph today, I'm like, dude, why am I not shorting these small cap gappers? If I can get shorts on him, like the Katina man or Neil when he's here, they always hook me up with shorts. And that's what I'm doing right now. So we're taking HSAI south. I like that $22 level defend. The next beak wetter for me, I got shares on this one. Yeah, I do have shares. So we're going to take out some more here. So the next beak wetter after this one that I just stole is at 75, and then below that we're waiting at 70. So I'm looking for an area defend. I perceived there to be resistance at 22, but I also perceived resistance at 22.20. And so that's why I've set up those additions to the short at that level. Only one got filled, the one at 10s. So we're short 22.03. We're showing 82s right now. I'm waiting for the print at 75s, as I mentioned, but it looks like it's catching a bit of a bid. So I'm going to have to pack our patience there. The one that I feel bad about not having executed well on, is GRPN. I completely missed that. Look at that flat top break through 13 1/5, 13 1/4. Kind of hard to gauge there, but we were putting in higher lows. All the while, we were kept rejecting 13 1/5, 13 1/4. Then the big boy volume came through, and we took out those shorts quick as you like. Now we're at 13.60. I'm out here like a schmuck, waiting at like 12.90 something, thinking that this thing is going to come back into the volume weighted average price. It's got a different idea. And it's just continuing on its merry way to the high side. We'll see how this one trades. I could certainly be persuaded now that we've cleared 13 1/5, 13 1/4 to use that area as area support. Support. So previously it was resistance. If we clear it by some distance, maybe, just maybe, that level comes back into play as support this time. So I think I will cancel the order at VWAP. And I will put an order at 13. I'm going to put 26s just so we can front run the size if there is to be size there, waiting for a long. I'm also long HMR. I didn't say much about this one. Shout out to Bovin for pointing this one out to me. I got a quick beak wetter, but there's really not much to talk about. We're 7 pennies out of the money, or 6 pennies out of the money right now. I've got my stop below 265. I perceive 265 to be area support. So here's the deal with HMR. I like the look of the pattern, but knowing that we're in a 4 candle red setup right now off the high at 294. We're still above the 10 and we're still above VWAP. The VWAP area is 262. So I think maybe, just maybe, my stop loss at 264 may be misplaced here. So I'm going to cancel it, in fact. And I'm going to set up a dip trade at 65s there. And then I'll put my stop below this one at 58. And that's exactly what we're going to do there. So we'll go like this, and then we'll go like that. So we've placed the stop, and then maybe we'll get a beak wetter there. Let's see what comes. So involved in a couple of trades right now. HMR at 77s to the long side, looking for that VWAP 10 exponential defend. Let's see what comes. Also short HSAI. Quite pleased with this trade, looking to extract some more as it comes back down. Now it's 78s. I'm waiting at 75s. Joseph, let's see if we can get the fill.
Yeah, nice look there, my guy. So here we go in some of these big names. We're starting to punch through the volume weighted average price. This is what I was looking for. We're in some TSLL, stop 890. We punched heavier shares here, guys, because I do believe that we can continue to climb higher. You can see that the strength within NVDA and Tesla is relatively there, just due to the fact that the market was continuously selling, and we were hovering around the volume weighted average price and had the inability to crack it and continue that downtrend here, okay? So this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for relative strength, and it seems that we have found it here in NVDA and in Tesla. So just using the vehicle TSLL, like to leverage the position, and that way you can take more shares, and then you also get that 2-to-1 that we are looking for. So climbing higher. It's unfortunate that we got out of the It's unfortunate that we got out of the TQs a little bit too early, guys, but it is what it is. Sharif said that this morning. I'm like, he's right about it. You got to take what you can get here in this market, especially to the long side, because we're not seeing too much of a continuation with the long bias trade, but we are starting to rip and starting to recover as well too, which is a positive sign. This is CPI coming in nice and cool, and that's what we want to see, get closer to that 2% goal that Mr. Powell himself is always referring to. So there we go, bang, stuff there, all right, there. So yeah, climbing higher, that's a good sign for the TSL. We are ripping. Unfortunate that that's the thing though, when they're working out, guys, you gotta let them work out. We're out of shares, but we're climbing higher here in TSLL, and that's exactly what we wanna see. Slowly gonna dive out of it here, guys. Take some off the top. Yeah, I like very much. Here we go. Taking some of it.
Kazakhstan, bro. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, Kazakhstan, I know, man. I told you still didn't watch that other one I told you this afternoon.
Bro, that's a hard watch.
Yeah,
that's a hard. We're not gonna say what it is.
Yeah.
But it's a hard. I started the beginning of it. I'm like, what?
Dude, I told you.
Like, nah.
I told you. It is. I'm sure we can say the name here. I don't know. Can we? Maybe we won't. Yeah, we'll
because like our commentary on it.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want people to start getting riled up in the chat.
Oh, they'll get riled up.
Yeah, but it's another Sasha movie that is quite revealing.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting and very revealing. That is for sure. But here we go, guys, climbing higher here in Tesla. If we come back and test the volume weighted average price, that's okay. I'll get right back out, and then I think I'm going to get back in. I wanted to take NVDA at VWAP as well too, but I want to get Tesla in this oversold bounce, even though it has been the weaker underlying asset. So I got to take that into consideration as well too. You want to stick with things that are strong and that can continue to cover and rally. But we did have a low of not too long ago. I think earlier in the week we had a low of 109 here in NVDA. 104. Wow. Okay, 104. And I was telling my buddy Greg V this morning as well too, Sharif, that I think we can see 100 here in NVDA, and I think it's going to come into play. Maybe not just yet. After this recovery rally, then we might tap into $100 on NVDA, and that would be nice because I know a lot of individuals, retail, myself, would like to buy it at that.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I'll include myself, into that category there. All right, HMR. Still involved in this one, 62s, wet the beak there quickly. I believe at 68, but it's still really not showing me a positive upward pattern. I am concerned a little bit about this one. Shout out to Drops Trades, who made me look at the previous day's chart. And needless to say, it is not a glowing endorsement for continuation. Here's what he was getting me to look at. Big move up. Well, it had a decent move up. I mean, initially, we got more volume coming in at 10:30, kind of breaks down below VWAP. We get a nice move up at 12:30, get a consolidation, and then something came in at 3 o'clock. I don't know what the hell it was, but it rocketed up then dropped down below VWAP, and then kind of consolidated sideways for a bit. So we'll have to see how this one ends up trading today. Second day play, where it's very much an inside day so far. At least we'll see if we can break through that. We're at VWAP right now. I don't want to say we're holding VWAP. We are certainly at VWAP. We'll see how this one ends up being. Where we long 62s is showing me 64, so essentially flat on it. This one over here, HSAI, keeps coming down into my 70s print, but I'm not getting the print. It's continuing to make higher lows with that flat top at 22. So I am kind of concerned that this will be a flat top breakout. But the trend that needs to precede a flat top breakout is an uptrend. And I don't really see a whole lot of uptrend. So we'll see if this ends up being the umbrella pattern that Adara talks about sometimes, with a big move down and then a hook. Speaking of Adara, she's at the big desk.
We do have on watch here Donald Trump saying that the latest inflation numbers were, quote, very good news. So Donald Trump liking that every aspect of the CPI metrics were below expectations. For the record, Sharif, I do think that does look a little umbrella-ish on the chart you just showed. Back to you.
Hopefully it ends up being the umbrella pattern, Adara, because if it does, it'll come back down and then hopefully fill me. So we'll have to see how this all ends up doing. HSAI taking this bad boy short today, down 8 3/4. Joseph.
Yeah, good look there, my guy. I'm looking to add into this Tesla position, but the thing is, you can see that this buying pressure isn't really stepping in how I want. I want to see buyers really step in, and we can start to increase on the volume by time profile, but it doesn't seem to be the case. You can see that we're outstanding here on the downside pressure, so therefore it seems that bears are winning this case. But I do like this here, Sharif. Okay, yeah, that's it. We're gonna add into this. I like it for the break here. Going to add quite heavily for the break of that there. Yeah, so let's see if we can get this. Tesla up 7% on the day, guys. Looking for that continuation within the strength. Got to stick with the strong names, guys, if you're looking for the longs. If we come back to my break even, I got to get out of this trade because I did put on a little bit more size here. It is only a $9 stock, but we are working with a leverage product as well, too. So take that into account. So, yes, I know, to Piper, I'm sorry I don't mean to go against you on that type of trade, but sometimes you can make money both ways, right? So hopefully your short works out, and hopefully my long works out as well too. So Stevenson says, Joe, this is my first time seeing this. There's no 101 puts on NVIDIA for next week. Yeah, let's take a look. Okay, here we go. Here we go, Sharif. On Tesla, we're starting to break here, guys. Looking really, really good. This is what I want to see, and this is what we were adding right there for, guys. The continuation of this trend. Nice breath within the underlying, but then you can see on this lower time frame, the volumes start to pick up. So hopefully this becomes just an additional breath, and then we can take some more out around that $9.10 target, or even go and test the high day, because that would be the ideal target on this specific setup. Are we going to get that? It's going to be tough, and it's going to be a grind. As you can see, we just consistently stair step up. So with every engulfing move, we get a little bit of a breath here, guys, and then we look for that ABCD type pattern and take that additional leg higher. But it can only come into play so many times, and then the pattern gets weaker and weaker as you start to incline here and ascend on the underlying assets. So 910 going to take out the majority of the position. That'll put us right at this previous pivot right here, and I think that's going to be a good level to take into consideration and into account that we might reject. So hopefully the Qs continue to participate. Microsoft and Apple, we're going to need them to start to grind a little bit higher in order for Tesla to continue. So if the NAS gets strong, it will be a positive sign for Tesla. But let's take a look at Google. They put a bottoming signal, really nice, that Katina Man pointed out here. Gorev, check this one out here. It's not the cleanest. That's fine, but what we want to focus on here is that outlying volume signature, so you have it slightly isolated compared to what we had at the opening drive. So for about a half an hour or a little bit more than that, it's the largest print there, and then you just grind into the volume weighted average price and still holding that level. So buyers do seem like they want to step in. That's a positive sign here in Google and in the Mag 7, Shreve.
All right, HMR popped up and we were able to get a couple of prints there through 70. I'm a little concerned though, Joseph, because 70 was a bit of a support level on the way down off that 290, let's say 4-3 pop. We drop back down. We consolidate a little bit at 70. We find some support there before making our way back down into 60. So we'll see how this one ends up trading. It's a 1 penny spread, so I should be able to manage risk on it effectively. Sorry about that. There we go. So we'll keep an eye on HMR. Now this one, HSAI, coming up against me here. So we're going to have to see how this all trades. Now, this is the volume weighted average price. So I've built my position up into this one. I won't be DCAing anymore. It's going to have to reject the volume weighted average price. And what I'm seeing right now is at least an initial rejection. So we're short 27s. It's showing me 22s. I'm waiting at 18s. Let's see if we can get a nice rejection. There is also price action resistance, initially support at 22.40. We kind of did a consolidation dance there. So we'll see if that price action support comes in and assists the short. In addition to price action support being at around 22.40 or resistance, price action resistance, we also have the volume weighted average price. So this one did reject VWAP up here when it kind of popped back up. Let's see, there we go, right, nice back down into 17s. Now we're short 29s. So happy about that. Let's see if we can cover a little bit more towards that 10 penny area. We'll see if we can get something in and around there. I got to monitor though HMR, because HMR, as I kind of suspected, is using 70 as a bit of resistance. So we actually moved up into 73, went unfilled sadly at 75. So I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. I don't think it would be prudent to take anything or to DCA anything below this 55 penny area. So we're long 62s. I really won't give it much more than to around 55. So I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. I like the pattern on HMR, but I feel it maybe its best days are behind it, so to speak. Now that's the bad news. The good news is the 3 candle pattern on the 5-minute chart all has higher lows. So it looks like buyers are incrementally picking it up off VWAP, but just not enough really to get any parabolic move north, or any good move north for that matter, not even parabolic. This is CRVO. You guys are talking to me about this. I got Gorev messaging me, or not Gorev, Zion Lala letting me know about that one, as well as a different try, I forget his name there, who said I paper handed it, and I was like, what happened, man? Banger plays. So this one is zigging and zagging. It's a little above 6, it's a little bit below 6 into 5. I don't really know how this one is going to trade. It's basically every time it encounters that 6 low teens, or 6 mid-teens, 6 low 20s, it's met with aggressive selling. So I don't know exactly how this all ends up working out. I mean, that's why I said, let's wait for that 654 high day break. That way we can kind of at least know that the bag holders are gone. They may still aggressively short because they're trying to get back in, but I don't know. I'm not going to be punching in long here. There's just too much indecision. Now, the money fills clearly have been at 5. But you can see that after the fact. That's a lot easier to see after the fact. Clearly, that $5 area has been an area of buying support. It's also a little bit, just a little bit, like 5-10 pennies at the most, higher than the volume weighted average price. So you kind of feel like those two areas are coming into play here to keep this bad boy locked in a range, essentially between 5 and 6. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. HMR continues to trade at the high 60s, nothing doing there. What are we doing over here with HSAI? Right back into VWAP. We got the print in the mid-teens and then right back into 40s a go. So HSAI going to have to reject the volume weighted average price. I've already put my stop on this one. Let's see how this one ends up trading. It's already moving up here, so I'm not really sure exactly what's going on, why this one's recovering in the way that it is, selling off, but finding a bit of a bid now. We're a little bit out of the money on this one, about 15 pennies out of the money. Let's see how this one works out, Joe.
Yeah, good look there, my guy. So continuing to climb higher. Again, I don't want to go over this too much, but if a little bit more shares, I would still be in this trade, almost about $2. It would be close to $2 roughly, just about 40 cents under it, but didn't leave any for the dream there, guys. Took some off here, held it, holding these bases, and then we just partialed out on that one, and then we'll pull over the TSLA to see what we got cooking up on that one. So nice entry right at the volume weighted average price. Took some off, didn't get stopped out, break even, nice consolidation phase, and then you can see that volume really start to kick in right here, guys. So you see the correlation between the print the volume print and the genuity within the price action print. So that was that. And then as soon as we came back to the break even, I just got out of the trade. So this one, to be honest with you, like because it's such a cheap 2x leverage, it's like, yo, you got to take a lot of shares on this name, because if you think about it, so if you take 100 shares, 85.90 to 85.88, that's only $10 of risk right there. So you want to put on a little bit more there, give yourself 5 cents risk, 500 shares, whatever it may be, in this name because of the value of it. So QBTS.
Yeah, unhalted.
Unhalted now.
Yeah, and Rigetti's going too, Joe.
Are you in them?
No, I'm keeping an eye on Rigetti. Rigetti's a double top, guys. Be careful. $8.90.
Oh,
That's a
whoa.
previous high. It just came up to $8.90 again, Joseph, and it cleared and it rejected it. But if it clears $8.90, we could get a nice move up. Rigetti's up almost 10%.
Okay, nice. Yeah, nice look there. I wouldn't be surprised if it got halted again here, Sharif. Is that Amex?
Or GTI?
No, QBTS.
Yeah, it should be NASDAQ.
Oh, it's not?
Pretty sure.
Okay, I can't. Maybe,
Hold on, QBTX.
I thought it was.
Yeah, NYSE.
Is it?
Sorry,
Yeah, okay,
NYSE. Yeah, my bad.
That's all good. Yeah, okay, so really nice move to the top side here, guys. Up 17%, continuing to climb higher and higher. So I don't want there's no chance I'm going to chase it all the way up here. Maybe you get another halt band hit and run into those halt parameters, but that's not something you necessarily, unless you're positioned really well, be weary of chasing it all the way up here. But I know we got a couple super chats, Sharif, that we did miss here. One of them from our big guy, the Spile himself. Hide your kids, hide your wives, blood, $5 from Big Spile himself. Thank you for that, my friend. Much appreciated. You get a double bang for that. And then Ali Anwar, Tesla producing cybercabs at 30K. That answers markets' worries as they tap into a new market with very competitive prices. Should look very bullish. Well, you know where I stand there on Tesla. 30K car, cheaper Model 2, whatever it may be. If it comes, it comes. But you got to be patient with this name, especially being down 50%. So now to get back to even where we were at the all-time highs, you need a 100% move in the underlying asset. So that might take a lot of positive catalysts in order to do so. I don't think an oversold bounce is going to put us over the top in that name. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. But I think once he gets these robocabs out and really starts to get these cheaper vehicles, these cheaper models, I think it's going to be positive, especially with me, robocab. As soon as we get robocab in Canada, I'm going to be taking full advantage of that stuff. I want to go in an autonomous vehicle, Shreve. I don't know about you, but it's funny because Obi and I were talking the other day, and Jose, I believe it was, it's just that like, okay, you own an autonomous vehicle, but then it's like, should I have just got an Uber? It's just like a revolving door, right? So it's
exactly.
It's a $60,000 Uber essentially that you can.
The good thing about the autonomous vehicle though is that it can make money for you
at night. But
right?
there's no one supervising it. So do you want everybody on King and Queen Street hopping into your cybercab at 2 or 3 in the morning?
If I can verify their identity and be able to charge them back, like if you.
You know so like an account,
saying?
so like Uber, right? So like you would have to get in on your account, and then whoever's previously in the vehicle, you can track.
We've seen that, right? Like people go drunk in the Uber, they throw up, they get charged by Uber, they get, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so you would need a system like that.
Yeah, you have to, right? I mean, otherwise people will go buck wild on that thing. I mean, it just wouldn't be.
Like they do on the Waymo, like those vandals on the Waymo cars in California.
It's just people looking to vandalize anything in California, bro. Like,
it's a different world over there.
It's intense there. Have you seen those autonomous robots that deliver pizza?
Yeah,
stuff? Everyone bullies the crap out of those.
Man.
It's so funny. Yes, Adara. It's there's videos of that.
I feel bad for them. I don't know if you ever. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Creator. It's actually such a sick movie and it's a good dystopian movie. But it's like everybody wants to remove like artificial intelligence because they don't like robots anymore and stuff. But they have personalities, etc. Kind of like R2D2.
It's gonna be interesting, dude. I mean, I really don't know where this goes, but we'll find out.
We will.
All right, guys. HSAI. What are we? We're about 5 pennies out of the money on this one. It's still kind of doing the dance here with the volume weighted average price, a couple of topping tail candles into VWAP. We'll see if this one wants to come back down. GRPN though, this is the one that I was quite interested in trading. It's coming into for the first time I should say, into that 10 exponential moving average, 1340. That isn't where I have my dip trade though. I'm looking for that previous area of resistance. Now maybe support at 13 1/4, 13 1/5. So we'll see exactly how far this one comes down. If it does lose the bid at the 10 exponential, I certainly will be looking to trigger at 13 and a quarter. So what I want to see first, does it defend the 10 exponential on the 5? If it does, and then it prints a new candle that holds at that level, I could be persuaded to get in at that level. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue to wait to see what it does. It's not trading that much volume, so there isn't a whole lot for me to do. In France, they are completely burning down warehouses, says Got Rats. I'm sorry. That's definitely not a good look. I mean, they shouldn't be burning down anything. I know this may be obviously not France specific, but I remember in Germany, there were attacks on one of the gigafactories, I believe, in Berlin. There was an adjacent, There was like an adjacent battery plant near the gigafactory that was attacked, something like that. Fact check me, chat. You guys know better than me. Yeah, I don't like it. I get the passion and I respect the passion. I don't agree with their ideology. Do you want to make that very clear? That's not where I sit politically, but I respect their passion. I just don't think the methodology that's being used is the appropriate methodology. But I don't get to make that decision. That's the situation there, Joseph. All right, here's the deal. There we go. We finally got the print here on HSAI. Let's see now if this is going to be kind of the VWAP rejection that I've been looking for. We haven't done well on this trade. We're barely in the money at the moment. So I'm going to pack my patience, wait for some of these fills to come in. This is my first attempt in a really long time. I'm talking like early to mid 2023 that I've been shorting, that I have for the first time since that time, shorted these small cap gappers. I don't typically take them short. If you've been watching the show, you know that that's a fact. So we're going to give this a try. We're going to learn, or we're going to do this, guys, live in front of you guys. So if we screw up, we screw up. We're definitely giving it the old college try here. 2 New York cents. It is better than storming the White House. Neither is good.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, just want to make that very clear.
That was such a crazy event.
Well, they didn't storm the White House. They stormed the Capitol.
The Capitol.
Right?
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't about that life either, quite frankly. But yeah, that's a situation that we find ourselves in now. Very politically, things are heated politically, Joseph. Let's just call a spade, exactly, man. I mean, there's very few people that are sitting on the fence now. There may be, but they are definitely the minority. QBTS, I see it, guys. QBTS zigging, it's zagging. It was halted, I think, for about, I don't know, how long is this? From 10:35 onwards till when we opened up at 11:50. So over an hour of a halt. We pop up to 6:39. We're back down now. I believe we're trading at like 6 or something like that. So QBTS, all sorts of volatility. Keep your eye out on that one, guys. It will be likely in play today. So we're involved in a couple of them. HMR barely holding on to VWAP. I am not very optimistic about this trade. It feels very flat bottom breakish. The only thing really keeping me interested is the wicks below VWAP that seem to be bought up. So keeping my eye on HMR, keeping my eye on HSAI. Adira, what's up?
These markets here still actually open the day for the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. Look at this beautiful V-shaped recovery and this bounce on these markets. In case you missed it, we initially were up here after getting lower than expected CPI prints across the board, which is what the market was looking for. It's what we've been waiting for, and it's what we got this morning. So that was well received, but we did end up selling off a lot of that strength into the open. Starting around 11, though, right around when the show began, we did get a nice little pop here. Though it looks like we're kind of consolidating right now here for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. Let's see if we can break out of this consolidation or if we push lower. In terms of things on watch here, I did want to mention that QBTS, because QBTS did have a catalyst. What happened here? We had a press release in the morning. Then we had this halt, this volatility halt coming through, as Sharif mentioned, around 10:30, opening back again around 11:40 here. And the catalyst was that they wanted to announce a research paper showing that apparently they've actually worked for quantum to solve apparently realistic problems. So quantum breakthrough here for QBTS announced. That's why we had that halt. Also, Donald Trump's talking, so as always, keep an eye on the market. He said that the ceasefire is on watch, but it's up to Russia now. He's hoping they can get a ceasefire, and they've actually apparently had some positive response to the ceasefire via messages he's received. So keep an eye on these markets. Geopolitics can and will move these names. No Neil lesson of the day, but back to the midday, guys.
Obi, you're on.
Obi's lesson of the day.
He's sitting in the seat, bro. I mean, he is
the fruit bowl's still untouched, though.
What's that?
I said the fruit bowl's still untouched.
What's going on with that fruit bowl?
It was yesterday.
Slowly. He's working, Joseph. I mean, he's like, what do they call those? An artiste.
Oh, is smooth is fast.
Slow is smooth. I think my grandfather used to say that.
He's smooth, man. The guy is smooth, man.
Yay, there he is.
Smooth operator, man.
The whole boy is right. All right, HSAI still watching this one, Joseph. We're a little bit below VWAP now. Just got a quick print there. Waiting now in low 20s, and then we're layering the orders in the teens and the single digits. Let's see if this one wants to come back down. GRPN, man, mistake on this one. Where is it at? Mistake on this one. So this one did end up defending the 10 exponential moving average. I lost sight of it. Let's see if we can get in here, and then I'm going to put my out below the area low. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and see if we can get that print. There we go. We can get that. We'll cancel that one. And then I'm going to put my stop below the area, the previous bar low. So that way we don't have to fight with this one. We can just basically... 13, perfect. We're going to go 39s, and then we'll take it out. 35s, there we go. So we typed that in right? Yes, we did. Okay, good. And then we'll set up like this with, we'll set up the beak wetters possibly to the north side if this one wants to continue to run. Let's see what we get there. Okay, finally, HSAI, baby. We take out 20s there. Now I'm waiting at 11s. Let's see, it's showing me 18s momentarily. Let's see if it can come back down into my area. I'm waiting at 22 11s on HSAI. This was a VWAP rejection and a short back down. Let's see if this one wants to come back near the lows. It did defend 21.20 awfully well. See if it can dip down into that $20 area. Still showing me 18s and 19s. Let's see what this one is doing. GRPN close to getting filled there. Oh, we did get filled. Okay, so let's set up a few more beak wetters up here. We'll set up like this. Okay, good look. Oh, HMR coming right back up. So happy I didn't flatten out here, but here's the deal. We're still putting in lower highs. So I'm going to take this opportunity on HMR to get some out because I don't have a whole lot of confidence in this one. I got to tell you the truth. So here we go. We'll wet the beak there. It looks like it's going to flat bottom break. Back to, yes, okay, HSAI, now it's showing me 17s, still waiting at 11s. It looks like that, Derek calls this the bid creep or the ass creep or something like that. You can tell it's just like incrementally working its way down every time it loses a penny or two. So we'll see exactly if it can. There it is. Now it's showing me 12s. I'm waiting at 11. Show yourself, print. It's not printing, so that's fine. We'll just wet the beak there, and we'll see if we can get something out around that area. Joseph, what do you got?
Nice look there, my guy. And Gorev, nice work as well, too, brother. He's out of that Google on that print, so beautiful trading there, my friend. Let's see what's going on here with the Qs. This is what I'm looking at right here, Gorev. A nice hammer candle right below the volume-weighted average price. If we can construct a higher low, that is going to be a positive sign for me to get in this trade, but we are starting to pull back and sellers are still fully, engaged. That must be those Korean noodles I had last night, giving me the hiccups here. But yeah, here we go. Tesla continuing to hover around VWAP. This is what we like to see. Nice pullback on the 5-minute time frame. What we want to recognize here is that on this time frame that we are dwindling in volume. So that is a positive sign here for buyers to step right in and then push us through this pivot that I mentioned earlier. That's why we took the majority of the position off right at 9.10. It's because we thought that this resistance is going to get sold off, and that's what's happening here in TSLA and in the overall market too. It's just like fade these resistance when an underlying trades into those levels. Look to just fade that pop. But one thing that I do like about this TQ setup, guys, is that now my risk is a little bit more defined. There was a good question in the chat for you there, Sharif, as well too, from our guy 2NY. It was a while ago, sorry, but I was hyper focused on on something. He's just like, what do we do with stops, etc.? Like, do you use a percentage metric? Do you use support and resistance levels? I'll answer this before Sharif does, is that I specifically like to use support and resistance levels, right? That's what I'm aiming for. So when I'm constructing a trade or when I'm building a thesis, it's like, okay, where is my out and where am I wrong? Using a percentage metric isn't a bad thing, but if I were like, hey, I'm going to give this 10%, we'll use this as an example, but this could put you in the middle of the range, and you don't necessarily want to be in the middle of the range. This is what I was referring to earlier. In heightened volatility environments, you want to be able to identify support and resistance zones and then put your stop losses below or above those areas, and that's just how I specifically trade. I don't know, you can answer that as well too, Sharif, for stop loss.
I got to agree with that. So I'm looking at area supports and resistance as well. If there are major moving averages that it's shown it's rejected off or bounced off multiple times, I'll take those into consideration. But 99% of the time, I am looking for price action, support and resistance, because that's proven that it's rejected off that area. Whereas with moving averages, you're kind of having to kind of hope that others see what you're seeing, and it's a little bit less kind of less secure. I don't know. Well, that's basically kind of what I look at. I don't use ATR. I know a lot of people like to use ATR and some other indicators to help gauge, these areas where they should be taking profits. That's not really how I use it. I use it more for swing trades and stuff like that, the ATRs, but I don't usually use it intraday. That's kind of just my look there. All right, we're involved in a whole bunch of trades. I'm having trouble managing all of them. GRPN, we're doing well on this one. HSAI bouncing again. It's giving me grief, this one. It seems to be finding support again at the 22.25. Let's see how this one does. I'm also involved back in CRVO. It seems to have found some support there at the 5.25. So I've got the beak wet there in the low 30s. Where are we long? We're long low 20s. I'm waiting there in the high 30s, and then let's put something in the 40s as well. Let's see if this one bounces up. We shall see if we can get something in and around there. HMR also bounced up quite aggressively, took the print there at 70s. The one at 71 went unfilled. It's still up 24%. Not a bad look on that bad boy. Where is this one? There it is. Okay, so we get the other print now on GRPN. Let's layer orders a little bit higher now at 69s. We can get something in and around there. We got several more outs on GRPN, so we'll layer them into that $0.75 area, showing me 68s now. On GRPN, we're waiting at 69. This thing's up 40%, man. So even though it's a slow mover, boom, it just took out that level. It's almost going to take out 75s, and that's all we've got. Once we take out 75s, that's the end of the trade on this one. And boom, it just took it out. So GRPN is on one, guys. Higher highs, higher lows. Good strength on this bad boy. Let's keep an eye out on GRPN. It could be a rinse and repeat style trade. So we're done that one. Let's go back now to CRVO. This is finding all sorts of resistance. I don't know why in the low 5s. That's not my look right now. It wasn't doing that before. It wasn't in this tight range. So something's changing right now on CRVO. It's holding 5, but it's definitely being pushed down at around that $0.25 level. It was zigging and zagging like to no end. Now kind of that zig and zag is a little bit in question right now. So let's see what we can get on this one. I've put my stop kind of tight, right above 5. To defend that level, so we may get stopped out of this one if it does take a bit of a flush down and wick us out. So that'll be the situation with HMR, with CRVO. HMR rejecting again. So this is all these lower highs. I'm done with this trade. I don't want to have to deal with a flat bottom break. That one is done there. So we're not going to have to nurse this one. GRPN continuing to go. Now, HSAI is the one that we have shares on. So I have to really kind of be careful with this one. This is a short, and it's found support for whatever reason now at the 10 exponential moving average. So it was using the 10 as resistance. Once it cleared above it, it's now using it as support. It's kind of locked in a bit of a range. I'm talking about HSAI between the volume weighted average price and the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. That isn't what I want. That isn't what I was in the trade for. Oh, boom. CRVO just took out all the orders to the high side. Yes, happy with this trade. So we're long at 23s. The best print we just got there was at 60s. Let's set one up at 75s now. Actually, I'm not even going to set up an order here. I'm going to set it up near 6. So we're going to go, let's go 588, okay? We're going to wait for a real spike on this bad boy. So it did reject that 575. I'm going to wait for a 588 spike. We'll see what we get there. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I'll get stopped out for the last remaining out on this one. Showing me the $0.50 right now. Good look there. Back to HSAI, because this is the one that I've got shares on. I think I'm going to end this trade if it breaks above this previous area high. So this one got into about 22.57. We're long 38. We're break even on it currently right now because it's right back into my entry area. Kind of frustrating on this one. Definitely didn't have that push down, and I had all these orders layered, none of them which printed, so a little frustrated on this one. Here it comes down again. This is insane. Come down. Let's go, baby. So we'll wait to see if we can get any prints here, Joseph. We've been waiting for a while, man, at 15s, at 11s, at 5s. Joseph's pumping his fist. Tell us about the trades.
Yeah, all right, man. We're in the TQs right now. Bang. I just hit it until we break the stream deck. We're finally getting the ball rolling here. These mega caps are starting to squeeze here, guys. Positive sign for the Qs. Obviously, you can see that Microsoft, I was monitoring Microsoft heavily today. I'm like, okay, we need Microsoft to put in a half. Oh.
What,
just like
man?
that, the party is over. Just like that, the party is over. It's like that. I didn't even get to hit a key, and it just ended just like that. The volatility in this market is through the roof. It is absolutely insane. Hey, Miller. Hey, Jeffrey Miller. But yeah, there you go, guys. You can see that we popped up all the way to 61.82. That would have gave us like 60 cents right there on these shares, but then we just flushed immediately, quicker than you can even spell it. So I don't know. So, here we go. What's the dare up to?
Just be aware here, Donald Trump just made some comments on tariffs. I put them up on the screen. They were not moving the market at the time, but it is worth noting because we had that drop. Donald Trump saying that there is some flexibility on tariffs, but there will be very little flexibility once they start. So saying that for now, maybe they're a bit flexible, but once they actually start, and again, I want to clarify that date is, as of right now, April 2nd. Once April 2nd hits, apparently there will be very little flexibility when it comes to tariffs. That's when we get those reciprocal tariffs coming in through from Donald Trump. So keep an eye on the market. We have more tariff talk yet again, guys. Back to you.
I mean, you can't even have a good time, and Donald's like, no. He's like, we're going to talk a little tariffs here, and then sure enough, the market flushes, but that's okay. We're starting to recover here, guys, not looking too bad here. We're going to hold for 62, more tariff talk, we'll take it. Hopefully he pauses a little bit longer, or he says, hey, this was my tool, this is my negotiation tool. I'm willing to talk, I'm willing to sit at the table with everybody and talk about it. So that's the positive. Tesla climbing higher, looking like it's going to go and test the high day here, Sharif. Should have got back into this trade. Now trading up to 250. I'm looking for 300, not today, but in the near term, hopefully on a dead cat bounce or whatever you would like to call it, an oversold bounce. Would like this name to drag the Qs up with it. Microsoft still trading stronger. NVDA going to go and test the high day. Google trading above the volume weighted average price as well too, guys. The only one hovering right now below VWAP is AAPL, and I haven't looked at Amazon, but one of the weaker of the names, I think 210 is in the works here on AAPL throughout the week, especially if we get another big down day here, Sharif.
Yes, sir. All right, we're still involved in this HSAI. My goodness, man. This is a bamboozling name. We were just down at 14s, and now we're back up into 30s. So going to keep an eye out on this one. Still involved, though, for the last remaining piece on CRVO. We got in at 5 1/4, a little bit lower than 5 1/4. I've only got one more out here. I'm waiting at 88s. I don't think I'm going to add into that 5 dip again because we're putting incrementally lower highs. So this feels like that $5 area could give way at any moment right now in the form of a flat bottom break. Here we go, right back down into 5s. Let's see how we do here. I've got my finger on the flatten button. If we lose 5, and then just like that, we're right up above 5 1/4 again. Why am I not surprised about that? So CRVO, the biggest, the baddest name in small cap gapper world today, but it is losing the bid incrementally. If you look at the area crests, areas where it's topped off, and here it comes, it's going to break down right in front of us right now. Let's watch this. So I've only got one out left, so I'm completely comfortable letting this one possibly break VWAP, and that's exactly what it looks like it's going to do. It's going to lose 5, and it's going to lose the volume weighted average price. If it doesn't do it now, it might do it on the second or 10th, or the third attempt. The point is it's putting in lower highs every single time with that same area bottom that's being defended. That is what we call around these parts a flat bottom break. So I'm going to have to look to the Katina man over here, and I'm going to have to ask him, brother, how much are shorts on CRVO going to run me? I appreciate that, Katina man. For me, free. I love it. I love it. We got special treatment around here. Thank you, Katina, man. We'll have to see. We'll let you guys know exactly how much it costs around here. Shout out to Real Trading, the best dang prop firm around these parts. There's no doubt. New dude booty, as Canadians like to say. You know about that one, right? You know about that one. Yeah. What happened there?
We don't all sound like that, man.
Yeah, we don't all live in igloos either, bro.
I know.
But that's what some people perceive. So we'll just play into the biases, Joseph.
Did I ever tell you that story when I used to play hockey tournaments in Ohio?
No.
Our team,
this.
yeah. So when I played on the AE team, we went to Ohio for a tournament one year, and we told all the other teams we ride we live in igloos and we all just ride exactly sleds around and they. To the and we're like, yeah, we all have, we're like, yeah, you know how you guys all have cats and dogs as pets? We have beavers and stuff like that. They believed it to the fullest, and it was like, meanwhile, we're from Toronto, and it's like, it's not that far away.
Like
I'll never. And they're like,
right?
they're like, really, no way, bro.
Kalua, you're killing me, bro.
Yeah.
Dinkelberg, your homes aren't made of ice?
Yeah.
You don't live in an igloo? No, we don't, okay? We have homes, like regular people. We have pets. We don't have beaver as pets. Yeah, I got to tell him, Madero. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to speak for people from Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, I was going to say.
You know I was going to take a shot. You can't just walk by like that. I'm not going to take a shot. Shout out to Adara. She's obviously from Winnipeg. We're just teasing.
Or we have.
All right, guys, we're doing real well here on HSAI. It was giving me an aneurysm, but we get a whole bunch of prints to the downside there, so I took out all the way down into 5s. We're short 40s, 2240s, VWAP short here on HSAI. I still got a bunch of shares left. Now I'm waiting at 2202. I'm waiting at 2190, 2188. 2175. You guys get it? 2169. So I am quite short bias on this one, but it hasn't been forthcoming in the way that it's giving you the prints. It is slow and it pops back up, and it's spready. It pops back up into a level, but the most noticeable thing about it is it's putting in lower highs on the pop-ups. Each and every subsequent pop-up a little bit lower than its predecessor. That's kind of what I'm looking for the short. So we'll see exactly what we get there. Hopefully we'll be able to print and do well on it. We'll keep you guys updated. But now, we got to pay some bills, baby. Take it away.
Time to pay some bills, guys. Unlocking the nuclear renaissance with Foremost Clean Energy. Leveraging one of the biggest mega trends on the planet, nuclear energy. Partnered with Denison Mines with properties strategically located in the Athabasca Basin, known as the Saudi Arabia of uranium. This undervalued company is poised to capitalize on the exploding nuclear market and offers unparalleled growth potential. The future is nuclear. Foremost is your entry on the NASDAQ under FMST and on the CSE under FAT, or go to foremostcleanenergy.com for details. But you can also scan that QR code right there and see what's cooking up there.
Joseph,
with Foremost. Yes, sir.
Let's let them know. That real dang trading. It's not called real dang trading. You know, I like to exaggerate for a fact. To get 100 shares short on CRVO cost me the eye-watering amount. I can't handle it.
Oh, no.
13 cents.
Dang.
That's too much money, Joe.
I don't know if I can afford it.
I can't afford it. Get it, Katina, man. No, the reason I tell you that, guys, because I can't even get shorts on my platform. I'm looking it up there. I'm not even going to bother showing you, but you got to take my word for it. That my platform right now, I'm looking to see whether CRVO is shortable. It's not even shortable, nor can I even buy shorts off it. So the reason I got shorts on this one, as I mentioned, it's putting in incrementally lower highs with that flat bottom, essentially at $5. So if we give way there and we start trading below VWAP and we want to kind of go back maybe into that closing print near that 250, 2 1/3, I'd like to be able to have the option of doing that. So shout out to the Katina man, and we're going to shout him out and appreciate him getting us shorts. Now, What's this one called? HSAI, right back down into single digits again. I'm looking for a 22 break here. So we've been waiting for a long time for that 22 break. We just showed, I believe, the low of this candle. Excuse me for a minute on HSAI. I don't know why it doesn't update, bro. 2203. So it didn't cross. We were waiting at 05s. It's got to cross because it's about a 4 penny, 5 penny spread at the moment. We're still putting in lower highs. I'm layering the orders to see if I can get all of them filled kind of all at once on a price spike down. So that's what my thinking is right now on HSAI. I want to go back to HMR though. So we had a decent trade on this one. I flattened out because I felt this one was going to be a flat bottom break. And I'm still kind of biased about this one flat bottom breaking. The reason I feel that way is because just like I feel with CRVO, incrementally lower high, another lower high, and even another one. And now we're popping up into 265. So I will have the same plan for HMR. If it gives up that 255 level and flat bottom breaks, I'm going to be looking to go short on this monster as well. HMR and HSAI will be looking short if it allows us to and if it sets up in the right way. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, we're just cooking up here a little bit in the TQQs.
Hey.
Now out the majority of this position. We got a little bit of around half, just I believe under half here, holding it for the break of the high a day, which would put us north of, let's see here, we'll zoom out to see what the high of day is on the TQs. It's 62.69, so that's still a ways away. Can it happen? For sure. If we continue this squeeze type price action, then I think it can happen. But here we go. This is what's dragging it up, guys. We don't talk about this name from an intraday perspective too often. That's Microsoft. It's not the most liquid day trader. I know it's not a name that we usually trade on a day-to-day basis like Tesla, NVDA, the Qs, Palantir, but here we go. This is the third largest company on the planet. Hopefully it's still sitting in third from a market cap standpoint. I haven't checked in a while, but it's climbing higher, and when these names are participating, look what's happening to the Qs. You start to see it climb higher and higher and higher, and that's what you need. You need the leaders to continue to lead, and what's happened over the past month or so, they've been getting shellacked. They've been getting beaten to a pulp. Like, let's see what this all-time high is. In July of 24 on Microsoft was the last time I put in an all-time high, and we're down 20% from those levels, right? So again, this never took part of some of the rallies that you've seen, like in Meta, etc., constructing new all-time highs a month or so ago. This was just hovering around in this range and continued to do so. We broke through these key support levels and then continued on the descent there, guys. So glad to see Microsoft participating. On the grand scheme of things, it's not too much, but we'll take it for what it is right now. We'll take any form of bounce in this market. I like specifically trading to the long side, and when you get Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Tesla, and Nvidia all participating in the same direction, it's a positive sign for that style of strategy. So that's what I'm going to hold on for. 62.20 might be the next target. I told you guys that we're sitting around 62.66 at the high day there on the TQs. Hopefully we can climb higher. See, if I was in here and I rode this whole trend up, that would have been a nice, really, really nice trade. But what we did is we got all out here, and then it came back through the volume weighted average price, put in that base, a nice bottoming signal right there, as Katina Man always likes to point out too, and say, hey, this is where you can potentially enter a trade and then look for that trend to the top side. So we're now running into some resistance here, guys. We got to take that into consideration as well, and how it may affect this underlying asset. But 61.88 might be the next target. We are through some pre-market lows to take that in as well too. So the thing is, we're holding this CPI print fairly well, which is we cracked it to the downside, but we held it, and then when we broke through, then the selling really stepped in, and then now we started to climb a little bit higher. So if we can break through this 62, then I think 62.20, 62.40 on the TQs can definitely be in target. Hey, day trader cut, I'm still in it. I don't think it's paper hands just yet. I'm still in this position, and I just ran out of shares right here. So I held it all the way through until I just ran out of liquidity. So, but I'm right back in it and going to hold some for 62.40 there, Sharif.
What a recovery on them. What the hell is going on today, Joseph?
Look at
We're up
Microsoft.
1%. We're down on the NQ. Now we're up 1.5%. Wowzers. Yeah, volatility central up in this place. Okay, so good luck. All right, we did get the print there at 05s on HSAI, but true to form, it's popping back up again. What I'm keeping my eye on, the most important thing here is that we continue to put in the lower highs on the 5-minute chart. So what I'm keeping my eye on is a break of this 22 kind of 35 area. And you know, I don't want to be super nitpicky about like, oh my, 1 penny break, that's a higher high, get out. You know, I'm looking for a decided break of the move. And I'm also keeping an eye on the lows. If we start putting in higher lows as well, that could be the indicator that that higher high is incoming. So we're going to go ahead and wait up down here. How many shares do we have left? Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, we got some shares here. Just, I don't want to take it out here. I'd really like somewhere in the high 21. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we've got 5 orders layered right now. Let's go ahead and take one out here, okay? And then we can see exactly if this one wants to come down a little bit more. I'm talking about HSAI, guys. Okay, CRVO, we've got shorts locked and loaded for this one, but it just made another attempt at 6. But believe it or not, this is still a lower high. So the previous attempt through 6 took us all the way up to 625 exactly. The current high, the 5-minute candle, is 595. That could change, obviously. Keep your eye out for the newer high on CRVO. Right now, we haven't been able to kind of change that pattern of lower highs. Each and every area crest a little bit lower than its predecessors. If we break through that 6 1/4, that could be a change in trend where we're no longer putting in those lower highs. Now, you may be wondering, Sharif, how come you're not shorting here, right? You keep saying that $6 gets rejected, well, and you got shorts on. Why don't you short at 6? Well, that's the exact same thing, for me anyway, as going long below VWAP on one of these small cap gappers. My rules flip in the inverse. So if I'm going to short small cap gappers, it will have to be below the pre-market low, and it will have to be below VWAP in the same way that I take them long above the pre-market high, and above VWAP, I will short these in the exact opposite way. So it hasn't set up. That's why I'm waiting for that $5 break before I get short. Now here we go. We're dancing with 6 right now. It's showing me 05s. I think the current candle high, 604. We're still below that 6 1/4 though that we put in at 1140. That 1140 AM candle is what I consider to be the area high at 625. Prior to that, the area high was at 1055, and that was a 654 area high. So you can see it. We're putting in those lower highs there. Let's see if we can eventually get that $5 flat bottom break. I'm ready for it. I've got the shorts. We'll see exactly what comes of that. HSAI, what are you doing over here, bro? All right, still putting in lower highs. So I'm still actually kind of happy about this one, but we are putting in higher lows too. So the lower highs are manifesting, but the higher lows are as well. So that's a bit of a problem there. Yeah, how you doing over there?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good, man. We're holding on to this position, looking to crack through this resistance zone here. You can see that we have an indecision print as well, guys, at the low as we slowly climb higher. Microsoft really, really strong. It hasn't looked back since that break of the volume weighted average price, so that's a really positive sign. If Apple can start participating as well too, we can start squeezing in the TQs, and that would be nice. Tesla hovering around the high of day. We'll pull up Tesla because we like talking about it. One of the more popular stocks, TSLA. I like to trade a vehicle. But here we go, guys. I think this is going to be a really, really key point in order for this stock to continue to climb higher. We need to break 250, 250. And what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to pull up the options chain to see if we have any high levels of open interest above where we're currently sitting. With this week's expiration cycle, so March 14th, guys, we're going to look for the highest levels of open interest here, Sharif. And we're sitting at 260. 260 is that this expiration cycle has 28,000, closer to 29,000 open contracts. So well, hey, that's only about 11 points away, guys. So it can definitely happen. Hopefully we don't double top, put in a bearish candle, a bearish type pattern here, and we push through and slowly climb.
Trading Tesla today, because yesterday you were like, he's not in my good book.
I told you he's not in my good book. Yeah, I was not happy with it. Yeah, I wasn't happy with it. But hey, I was talking about it earlier as well too. I liked Elon. Do I agree with everything he does and says?
I don't either, bro.
Absolutely not. But I didn't sign up to own Tesla shares so he can run Doge. You know what I mean?
That is true. And I think a lot of people have that complaint.
Right, and I think that's why it's also hindered the stock price as well too, quite often, because people are agreeing on that fact. It's like, okay, he owns one of the best car companies on the planet. He's getting into robotics. He's got SpaceX, etc. He's a phenomenal engineer. But I'm not in Tesla shares for him to run Doge. I'm in it for him to run Tesla.
I respect that.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Respect
So
that.
yeah. So
what else I want to add too was we kind of knew that this was going to be the case. Remember, I think it was like a few weeks ago we got word that he had booked. I don't know if he booked a hotel, but he had earmarked 4 months, the next 4 months. Like that was a half a month ago, so 3.5 months. To stay in Washington, right?
Yeah.
We heard he's living in the West Wing of the White House, right? Like he's got a room there that the Donald's given him, and he's just living out of there. Not unusual for him because he's lived on a factory floor, I should say, before. So yeah, it's kind of an upgrade for him.
I mean, like a nomadic lifestyle type kind of. You know what I mean?
Have you seen his house in Austin?
No,
it's those cubicle houses, bro.
Is it actually?
Yes, like those.
Like a shipping container?
Yeah, like kind of. He has his
but it's
own
a little different. I know he has a half decent house somewhere. I seen they were talking about it, but again, he's like, nah, he doesn't really care. He has like that nomad lifestyle. He doesn't. I think I've seen Elon on a yacht once. There's a picture of him on a yacht
with
once.
his shirt off.
With his shirt off.
And he got rolled.
Large. Yeah. And it's like, all right, maybe start applying a little sunscreen there. Hopefully, Grimes put some sunscreen on you there. The heaviest
shots
stuff.
The world's richest man.
You know what I mean?
He doesn't have the world's best body, that's for sure.
It doesn't matter when you got kind of cash like that.
We're gonna shut him out anyway. I still like you. Yeah. All right, we just went the beak there a little bit more on HSAI. Nicely in the money on this one, but this one is still defending that $22 level. I don't know. I feel that this one could lose 22. Soon we shall see what we shall see. That is a meaningless tautology, but that's what I do around here, giving you meaningless information. I'm also long back HMR, and here's the reason. This one I perceive to be doing a rounding effect off the volume weighted average price, putting it incrementally higher lows and higher highs. In addition to that rounding effect, it has taken out area highs. I'm talking about that 270 rejection. It cleared it. It's also at or a little bit above this 273 area that we also rejected. That was the best peak weather I had. Well, that's not true. The one at the 80s was the best. So here's what we're doing. We're looking to go long on this one, possibly into a $3 test. I've got no beak wetters. I'm long 72. Let's set up some here. We're going to wait at 77s and see what comes. Anything below 60, the trade is all over. Back to HSAI because I see this one's zigging and zagging over here. There we go. We got the fill. Still haven't got filled at 03. It's showing me 06 though. And it hasn't shown me 06 on the bit side of the book. I mean, since I started watching this one come down. So as I mentioned, every single time we come into those lows, it's a penny or two lower on HSAI. It doesn't mean that it's going to keep doing that, right? That's the thing, right? That's what I try to always convince myself of as well. The tables can turn any minute. The trend can change. So I've been trying to wet the beak here in front of 22, knowing that kind of 22 has been acting as that level of support on HSAI. So that's my look right now. Let's go back to GRPN. That one we haven't talked about in a little bit of time over here. This one just breached the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. It's I also perceive price action support to be around 1368. It's got a two candle red setup on the 5. It did wick below the 10. It's trading above it right now. It also had a previous 2 candle red setup at 1145 and 1150, both of which defended and ended up trading a little bit higher than the volume or than the 10 exponential. But this 1399 high a day, it's a 14 rejection, right? So this could reject 14. I don't know. I don't want to be quick to jump into this one. It's at a good area right now at 13 and a quarter. I just don't know how I feel about it. So I'm just going to stay clear of this one. It's got a great looking hammer candle on the 5. Let's show them what this looks like right here. Because it's a good looking candle if you're looking for an area defend. I mean, it was a little bit better when it was trading over at 13, but it kind of breaches a 10 exponential. And this is the 2 candle setup I was talking about that we retraced, defended the 10, and then we put in 6 candles green in a row. And here's another 2 candle red setup defending the 10 exponential. That's kind of what I'm talking about there on GRPN. Let's have a look back at HSAI because I'm seeing 5s now show up there. Oh, boom. I had to digress. HMR. All right, baby, here we go. Let's take out some more there, and then we're going to layer these orders on HMR. So that was a rounding effect that we were talking about there. So nice curl, that bowl shape off a predictable area of support. That is the volume weighted average price. I'm waiting at 80s and then 85s on HMR. And oh, we got the 22 print. In fact, yeah, I did. It printed 2201. So quite happy with how HSAI is doing. The next couple of beak wetters, 95 and 91. Now it's showing me 03, so we could lose 22 here. Let's see if we lose 22 on a closing basis. We still haven't done it on a closing basis. We just quickly wicked below 22 or at 22, and I got the print there. But we're not breaking below it, but we are still putting in lower highs. So HSAI, this is the 5-minute. That's the area crest. And then every successive 5-minute candle a little bit lower than its predecessor. Let's go back to CRVO, because here we go again. We just popped into 620. Remember, the previous area crest is 625, so we reject by 5 pennies, but something tells me my shorts may go unused today. This one looks like it wants to possibly take out that high day. You bet your bottom dollar I'm not going to be shorting anywhere around here. Look at this thing, bro. This is a wild one.
Yeah, you can't
hey, I heard you was a wild one. Get it there. I knew that you'd chime in there. And there it goes. Joseph, it takes out that 625. That is still low. Wow. Look at this. Look at this. Look at these small cap gappers. It just got into 644. Joe, look at this. 644 high day. It dips right back down into 563. Now it's below 6. This one's a wild one. I really did mean it when I started singing. CRVO is a wild one, guys. Keep your eye on this one. It's all sorts of bamboozlement. Dang, son. What do you got?
Dang, Daniel.
Back again with the white van.
Back again with the white van, Sharif. Here we go, climbing higher in the TQs, guys. There's only one thing that we wish is that we had more shares. We got a couple left, but at this high day break is when you should really be adding, and then we didn't really, we had this volatility spike, which would have been relatively scary to sit through, but again, just climbing higher and higher and being led by Microsoft. That is key. Tesla now tapping on the door of 252, 251.50 to be exact there, guys, running into some resistance zones. Let's see if we can punch through on this momentum. One thing we need to take into account here, guys, is the fact that these momentum bars, this momentum in the underlying, oh, look at this consolidation phase and then the break higher. Wow, what a nice move here on TSLA. Unfortunately, we didn't participate more in this, but one thing to note here, guys, is that this momentum here, as you can see the volume by time start to really pick up. It didn't push us through those levels, so that's something I'm going to be keeping an eye out on because you would have liked to see that continuous through the resistance, but we're now running into it and kind of pulling back right now. If that volume signature is going to be genuine, then hopefully the move can be sustained and we can continue that movement to the northeast, maybe even possibly 255. Did I pull up the options chain and see what high levels of, oh yeah, I remember I had 260. 260, I'm not saying that's going to be in works for today, but on this week's expiration cycle, we can definitely have that Magna effect here at 260 with about 28,000 open contracts. If I go up the chain, it's still the largest open interest, which is a positive sign. And if I go down the chain as well too, the next highest level is going to be at 220. So 260 is a good look with 30,000 open contracts. We like that for Tesla. Apple rejecting VWAP right here, so might pull the Qs down a little bit with it, but we are still hovering around those highs. Positive signal. This is what we want to see, a nice recovery here in the market. TQ's up about 5%, so that would put the Qs at about 2.5 there. So positive off of that lower than expected CPI print there, guys. The good news seems to be good news, and that's what we like to see here in these markets, the big names participating and dragging everything higher because we know that we're down double digits in a lot of these names, so it's good to have this type of price action. So let's see what Ozan in the chat is saying. We break 252. It will moon last. Okay, yeah. So we'll wait. If we do crack this resistance, maybe we can tap into 255. That would be nice. And then if you get in that squeeze type price action, 260 could be in the works. I mean, it's nothing for Tesla to put in a $20 to $40 session, but I don't think it's going to happen right now. Especially these cover rallies aren't necessarily over exhilarating, I should say. They're not squeezish type price action. So we need to take that into effect as well. So we'll be patient and we'll wait for the end of the week to see if 260 comes into play. It might. And if so, then we're just going to pay more attention to these high levels of open interest in this environment. That's for sure, Sharif.
All right, man. HMR doing well. I took the last little bit out there. I was kind of a little bit unaware of how many shares I had left. So we took it out there at 85. It's not a bad look on HMR with that rounding effect off VWAP. I will be a buyer again if this does come into the volume weighted average price, which is currently at around 2 low 60s. So we'll see if this is double topping or whether or not the current 5-minute candle can print anything higher above that 85 print. HMR is the one I'm talking about. It's up 31 and change. Great look for it on the day, but still off about 12, 13 pennies off said high. Let's go back to HSAI. I'm very much involved right now, guys. Or not involved, but keeping an eye on CRVO because we're very close to taking out that 654 high of the day. That is the high of the day that we printed at 1055. Last 5-minute candle at 1235, we got into 646. So we're still technically lower than that 654 HOD, but if we squeeze, we could definitely be pushing a lot of shorts out. HSAI, bang, there we go. We give up 22s, baby, so we're about 50 pennies in the money on this one. Let's see if we can continue to move down. So here we go. First breach we've had below 22. So this one completely different than how I expected the short to trade, Joseph. We always talk about you and I know the Katina Man and Neil and everybody always says, we take the escalator up and we take the elevator down. That is not what we're getting right now on HSAI. It's taking the escalator down. So it was a little bit, I didn't anticipate it to trade in this way. What's going on over there, Obi?
Yeah, well, you know what took the elevator down?
What?
The Qs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It just took the, look at it. Look at that. We're talking about the stairs up. Look
What
at this.
did he
look
say
at this.
now? Where is he at? Hold on. Go talk in the mic so people can hear you because the people are going to want to hear what you have to say.
No, I was like, I remember in the morning session where I was like, okay, my stop on NVIDIA is at 116.59. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, whatever. I'm leaving on a trail. Guess where that action just now grinds all the way up, pop, nice. And I'm like, all right, that's...
Dude, what the...
It'd be like that sometimes.
It is
that's all
like
I'm
that,
saying.
though. I'm sorry,
Nice.
obviously, and that's just the nature of the beast. But Adara does have breaking news.
Yeah, I don't know about breaking in, and the market certainly isn't reacting to it here, but Amazon on watch here, CNBC reporting that FTC attorneys asked the judge to delay the start of its trial, accusing Amazon of deceiving users of its Prime subscription program. They basically cited staffing constraints and other issues. So you might expect this to go up on this. Amazon apparently now having its FTC hearing delayed, seemingly good for the stock, but this stock dropping along with the rest of the market. Now, with regards to why this drop is occurring, I don't have any news. It is worth noting a couple minutes ago, Trump stopped speaking to reporters in Ireland. He concluded that meeting or conference, for lack of better terms. So he's, to my knowledge, not currently speaking right now. Those comments have ended, but keep an eye nonetheless on the market. If I see anything else, I'll let you guys know promptly. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. Donald Trump channel is what I'm searching on YouTube, right? I was telling Adara this yesterday. I'm like, what a good idea this would be if there was just a channel that covered Donald Trump. Anywhere he goes, any press he has, there's a camera. Well, if there's a camera there, obviously, then we cover it. It would be nice for day trading purposes because sometimes these major networks they don't cover him. Now we've got CNN on, we've got Fox, we've got everything trying to basically gauge any time Donald Trump is talking because these markets move at a whim. And so sometimes these networks don't cover him. So I thought maybe, an interesting YouTube channel would be that full not 24 hours, obviously, during regular business hours covering Donald Trump. So maybe we'll do that. It's called The News, says Kaluet. I just finished telling you, bro. They're not covering him. He's not on any of the networks right now. He stopped speaking. He wasn't on before, Dara. I keep my eye on the TV like every 5 minutes. He wasn't on it. So we'll keep an eye out for the Donald. In regards to the current trade, I'm still waiting. Now we're actually getting prints on the ask side of things going below 22. Right now it's at 22. I'm talking about HSAI. There it goes. Now it's at 98. Now it's showing me 94s. Now I've only got a couple of beak wetters left, so we're going to be quite ambitious here with where our prints come in. I'm waiting at 75s, and then I likely will move down the last little stop there into the mid-50s. We'll see if this one wants to keep losing the bid as it has been doing. So below 22 we go. We move in to a predictable area on HSAI. I want to show this. So in the way that it rejected VWAP initially over here. Yeah, I almost killed myself on that today too, bro. I'm happy you almost died today too.
Bro, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
I'm kidding. No, but like misery loves company.
Yeah,
bro. I almost tripped on that today. Like, why do I have to be the only one? No, I'm playing. No, but seriously, get back to seriousness over here. HSAI, when it lost VWAP at around 940 today, it kept trying to reclaim VWAP each and every attempt, got rejected. It did the same dance over here. It worked its way back into VWAP. You had one quick candle that breached it, and then right back down we go. So HSAI rejecting the volume weighted average price. Let's see if we can get that successively lower low, lower high situation. We're back above 22 right now, but we made an area low there when we got into about 21 low 90. So HSAI, my only trade at the moment, guys, and I do apologize about that. I will keep my eye out for other trades. I'm waiting for CRVO to figure out what it wants to do. Does it want to take out 654 as a high? Does it want to lose $5 as support? Obviously, there are trades in between, right? I mean, it's showing you it's bouncing off 5. It's showing you kind of it's rejecting generally off that 6 area. It's above it right now. But I'd rather a more predictable trade where we can take out either longs or shorts on the north or south side of the price action. If we can take out 654 as a high, then we'll be going long. If we can lose 5 as support, I will be going short. Just keeping my eye out on that one. I will report back to you guys. Let's see what everybody else is saying in the chat. Day trader, yeah, I'm sorry, bro.
That's crazy.
That was just that was a random statement. You know, obviously, I love Joe. I wouldn't want that to happen. Daryl Finch, maybe Elon can install Neuralink chip on Trump so we can all get auto thoughts. Oh boy, says Adara. Let's see what everybody else. Eddie R, so thoughtful of you with your colleagues. I know I suck, bro. I'm not a good person. What can I say?
You're a great person.
No, we're just playing around, obviously. What's it called? HSAI right back above 22. Let's see if it can continue to make those higher highs, though. We've only got a couple of beak wetters left, short 45. There's my man in the chat, Mr. China. Shout out to Ozan Saley. Saley, my bad.
Oh, this is Saley. I don't even know. Ozan Saley. What's going on, my guy? Yeah, I mean, Sharif was referring to the stairs up, elevator down. I don't even want to count how many minutes I was in this trade and then it just get engulfed within a matter of seconds, guys. So a nice look here, but what do we go? 3 for 4 here on the TQs. Pretty good entries. So let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes of trading higher, gone in 5 minutes there, Sharif. So that's good times there, for sure. So here we go, guys. Starting to climb back. The volatility is really stepping in these markets, just recovering back. I missed the news headline. I went to the washroom. Was it tariffs, regarding tariffs or something or was it the Amazon news that caused the dump there, Sharif, or do you know? No, okay, no one knows. All right, that's all right. No worries. We'll figure it out. We'll just follow the price action. I was going to get right back in. I'm going to give myself a couple of minutes here, and then we just rip to the top side. So I didn't react fast enough. The thing is, though, guys, 2NY asked about risk to reward. So if I'm in at the hold of the volume-weighted average price, all I have to risk is the low of these candles. And if it breaks that, then I'm going to be wrong on the thesis. But then I would have been at like a 3 or 4 to 1 already sitting on that. So that's hindsight trading, unfortunately. But we'll take it for what it is. You can see that these big names are really recovering strong. So nice rally here. It seems that the buyers want to step back into this market. That is a beautiful sign for me. And I like it. I'm going to try to stick with it. Not going to chase the TQs all the way up here, though, which is unfortunate because when we grind up for a half an hour here and we lose it all in 5 minutes, we just gain it all back in a matter of 5 minutes as well, too. So that is extremely positive. That's a good sign. At this pace, it looks like we're going to crack the high here, guys, but we're going to wait for a pullback. Maybe we test 62.20 and then get a little bit of a retracement in the TQQs. CNN. So yeah, let's see what's going on. What are you guys looking at? Let me know if you want to go over any specific names. If you want me to talk about any option strategies. Sandra, I'm curious on how your bear call spread on Apple is working. It seems to be pretty good, and you're collecting a lot of premiums. Nice look here in the TQQs. Unfortunate we missed that one. That sucks quite often. Here's Donald talking on, I think it's CNN there. So pretty good look. Yeah, guys, let me know what you guys are trading on the session. Sharif's dropping stuff over there. He's worried about the TV. He's like, sorry. He just wants to see Donald, and that's it. But good times. Yeah. Oh my days, TQQ. What an entry this would have been, guys. Recovering that whole dump right now. So. Unfortunate that we missed that one. Still slightly red on the day, but that's okay. Especially after these big trades, you're like, Joe, why are you still red? It's because this one we punched pretty heavy, and then we took a little bit larger of a loss. So slightly red, nothing that we can't recover on the day, but let's see what Adair's up to.
So to clarify, so Donald Trump, to my knowledge, is no longer currently speaking to the Irish press. He spoke to the Irish press. This ended actually a while ago. So Trump was making comments to the Irish press. It looks like they're re-airing right now. And it says a few moments ago, I have not heard any headlines from this talk until, let me see when this ended. I believe it was about 13 minutes ago it ended. So Donald Trump here, this is just the NASDAQ, no longer speaking to the Irish press. That conference has ended, though it looks like it is being re-aired on certain news stations. So I just wanted to provide some clarification on that. Also at 1 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be getting the 10-year note auction. That's not always market moving, but it's something to be aware of, especially with the volatility we've seen as of late. Back to you.
Exactly, right?
Shout out to the Katina, man. Look, we've got it on right now. Apparently Donald Trump was saying something about, he thinks the markets are going to soar, and he says that, and then they start moving back down true to form. So we'll keep an eye out on that. HSAI has come back right into VWAP. I'm not going to be adding here, but if it does reject VWAP and it shows me a clean rejection, I will add into the position on the way down. Kind of like adding to your winners on the way up. It's kind of the opposite of that. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing on HSAI. I've only got 2 exits on this one left. We'll see what we can get here. It's back at the volume weighted average price, showing me 40s. We're short 45s. I'm also back involved in HMR because somebody called me out. They're like, bro, you got out way too early, and more right you could not be. So we got back at 82s, wet the beak there at 86s. Now I'm waiting at 90s. We'll see if we can get something to the high side here on HMR. It's defending the volume weighted average price for now. The 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Here's what I'm talking about. Let me just show you. It has this rounding effect, which kind of caught my attention. Now, this rounding effect could manifest into a double top, so you got to be acutely aware of that. But what I'm keeping my eye on is the breach or the hold of that green line on your chart. That's the 10 EMA on the 5-minute chart. That's where I base a lot of my trades on these small cap gappers on. So if it loses that, then we're just going to get out, and we have a really good price, really close to that level. So we'll see exactly what the situation is on HMR. Let's go back to HSAI because it did reject the volume weighted average price. So for now, we've got a double top at the VWAP area on HSAI. Let's see if this one wants to work its way right back down. I'll add into this one if it wants to lose that bid. Joseph, what do you got, my man?
Yeah, just sitting here in the TQs. I know Katina man's short from 62 up here.
Yeah.
But and I was thinking to myself, 62.20 right at the top. So right where I got out, Katina man, you hopped into the short side. And then he's like, dude, this just squeezed crazy. The volatility is insane. I'm like, but I was thinking in my head, I'm like, if we don't break 62.20, then I think you're gonna be okay, and we might go and test the bottom. So it's working out really, really good for him there. Short 62.20 is Mr. Katina man himself, and now trading around 61.66. So let's see if we can sustain this downward movement. Microsoft coming off of those highs. we almost touched the pre-market high there, and then we just rejected it. We did break through that opening range high, and then traded slightly above that, and then now coming back in, which is, I guess, a positive signal for the shorts. One thing that Sharif noted as well is that Amazon tapped $200 3 times, and then now was going to go test it again and went to 199.61, and then had the inability to break through right there. So not a horrible look. Someone in the chat asked me what's up with Tesla. I'm not going to say anything necessarily, right? I don't think there's anything up with it. If we want to go to a higher time frame to see if we're slightly putting in a bottom, and this is what you want to see, especially over the duration of a couple sessions, is that you put in this bottom, but then you just slowly grind, and you can see the rounded effect that you get within it. And then now we're climbing higher. We do have some key support levels that now can act as resistance here. Right at that 252 level that I mentioned is the high day as well. So we have previous day's lows, we have pre-market lows, and a bunch of other levels from previous sessions sitting in and around this 252 area. So we got to watch out for that. Momentum stepping in will be positive, and if we can crack through it and sit on top of this range around 266.29, I think that's going to be a positive sign for some shareholders of Tesla like myself for that 300 target, just to get out of the underlying. And one thing that I did want to acquire, excuse me, Katina Man was talking about Reddit. Were you, Sharif, this morning taking a 50% haircut? But what also took a 50% haircut after earnings, Sharif, is Hood, right? So trading as high as $66. We're now trading around $39, so it's recovered since then. But when you have a 700% increase in crypto transactions in this underlying, I like those numbers. I like those types of growth cycles. So this is something that I'm looking to kind of rotate into. Is fintech necessarily something you want to be getting in right now? Maybe, possibly, I don't know. But I like this name for the longer term. I don't necessarily want to own it for a swing. I want to own this company just because when you have those numbers, they're probably going to be sustained, especially with that Bitcoin stockpile coming in now with the U.S. government. That's an even more positive sign. So I like those two factors here for Bitcoin to continue to climb higher, for crypto space to continue to expand. And I know, Sharif, you said, hey, do you think we're going to get other these meme coins in ETFs? And I said before, I don't know. I don't know if there's enough demand for them because we trade IBIT, but I don't think anybody here has ever traded the Ether ETF here. So I don't even, it's like ETH. Have you traded the Ether ETF?
Yeah.
When it was on Pink Sheets. Okay, so when it was on Pink Sheets, but now I believe it's NASDAQ listed or something like that. So, and even at that point, no one here on the floor has touched it. So I don't think there's enough demand for those types of ETFs.
And you feel like, ETH, it participates a lot in the down moves on crypto. But it does participate in the up moves, but definitely not proportional. With the Bitcoin and some others as well. So, I know Satya loved ETH, and that was kind of her thing. But just you kind of feel, Joseph, at least it's not in vogue in the way that Bitcoin was, maybe XRP, some of these others.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is with exactly with XRP, Cardano, and Solana or whatever. I mean, they're kind of trumping Ether right now because I think they perform slightly better. You lose less gas on it, so the fees and everything along those lines.
And it was faster, it was cheaper. Yeah, right? Like if you want to send money to people back home, apparently XRP is a good.
It's the best one. It's the best one right now. So I like transactions per second. I believe XRP is the best one, which is what you want to look for. So
All right, guys, we're involved. I added to my HSAI short. So we have a 3-candle hold up right now, south of the volume weighted average price. So I added to my short at around basically right here, 22.34. So our average price went down from 22.45. down into 22.40. What I'm looking for is basically a curl into VWAP and a rejection of VWAP. Now, what I've done was, I don't want to give back too much, so I'm putting my stop out a little bit higher than this area crest right here. So look at this candle that we put in at 1150. That's the area high. It breached VWAP, and then we kind of moved right back down. So if we continue on our way up, I'm out. I'm going to get out of this trade. I've only got a few beak wetters left. Let's see if we can get something to the downside on this bad boy. Not much else to report. We're still involved in HMR, and HMR still holding at the 10 exponential. but I am really concerned with HMR that it could end up manifesting into a double top with the neckline break coming below that 255, 260 area. So what I've done was I'm looking to add on HMR at the 10 exponential, which we just got right now. So now we have 79s as a long. And then if we break the 10 exponential, I'm going to get out right below that 70 print. So let's see what we get here. Let's put some beak wetters up into that area. So how many outs do we have in HMR? Good. All right, so then we can kind of layer it. What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man's in the futures. You're short, right? The Katina Man's short 62.20 on the TQQQs. So keep your eye out on the futures. As Joseph was showing you earlier, you can lose quick as you like on that. I mean, the market was pumping up, and then all of a sudden we lost the bid. So keep your eye out on that. He's celebrating. That means he's printing. He just got VWAP right now. Let's show them. Let's show them, Katina, man. Let's bring in the black chart over here and look at the TQQQs. Yeah, shows Andre if you, yeah, there it is. So he gets in. There you go. He adds into the volume-weighted average price. I'm assuming that was your plan all along. Katina Man, he's wetting his beak as he comes down. I love the lower high, Katina Man, by the way. That kind of just, solidifies the trade. And then he just got VWAP right now. Excellent trade, Sean. Hope you continue to print up multiple storms. And this is what we're looking at on the black charts right now. This is what he means when he got VWAP. That white line right there kind of looks like the line of best fit. That's where we're at right now on the futures as it comes right back down again. We're still positive, though, on the NQ anyway, up 1.15%, with the ES also up 0.5 percentage. But the Dow and the Russell both negative. The Russ is barely negative, 0.03. The Dow down 0.2, likely because of the dead one Apple, keeping that bad boy down. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. We'll report to you guys as the day goes along. Only positions to report on to you guys right now, HMR long, HSAI short.
Yeah, good luck there, my guy. I'm just working on some things. Oh, that's what I want to fill in some of these data points here for the playmaker. I still have some. No, it's all good. But I got to finish the cumulative P&L here. Been slacking on that, but that was one of my goals, and it slipped my mind because that's what we do. We like to collect data.
Hey.
All right, let's get it fired up here for the playmaker poll. 66% to the long side. That is a landslide.
Okay.
Let's see what we got.
Ready.
I'm ready.
55, 559, 20, or sorry, 31.
31.
559, 31. So we're going long, right?
All right, we're going long.
All right, so
Target
we're taking
price.
profits at 561, 31.
561, 31. Bang.
And then we get stopped out at 558, 31.
558, 31. Beautiful.
Come
we're
on,
in
chat.
right at
Don't
one.
do us wrong today, baby. Let's go.
Don't do us wrong today, chat. You guys got to make sure we're right. Otherwise, it's all over with. We got to
See Greenland yesterday? They had elections. All 57,000 people that live on that island.
They voted.
They voted. I don't mean to make fun. That's what I'm saying. I know. So the party that won is the pro-business party. So a lot of people are speculating now whether that whole thing happens, eh?
Oh, really?
57,000 people.
That's all it is,
How many of them are even eligible to vote, like adults, right? I'm assuming the eligibility for voting is probably 18 over. We can double check that. It's not hard to find. But yeah, that's going to be interesting to see if that actually happens, dude. Like, can you imagine? Just like... Anyway, it'd be a new one for the modern era. That's for
sure,
dang
man.
sure, right?
Call it what is it? Expansion. What is it called?
He's expanding his territory.
He's
quite
expanding
frankly.
it. So I mean,
Here we go, Joseph. I just want to cover HMR, guys. We get that ad on. What did we get? We got 77s there. Just went the beak at 85s. Now I'm waiting at 88s. I'm happy with this ad. I always complain to you guys that I don't add into the right areas. I did this time, and I'm kind of happy with it. Let's see if we can continue to move up. I will be adding on these successive moves down, but I'm still acutely aware of the possibility of a double top manifesting here on HMR, especially if we reject $3 or in and around 3, with the previous high essentially being on HMR 294. So we'll see what we get. We won't get upset. Shout out to Neil. I hope he's enjoying his time down at Dunedin for spring training, which if you've been watching the show for any discernible amount of time, there he is. Don't look a horse in the mouth. He does every single year with the fam. So shout out to Neil. I hope he's having a fantastic time Joseph.
Yeah, over there in Dunedin there. Nice weather. Starting to warm up here, though, guys, north of the border. That's a positive sign. We'll take it. We get a whopping 13 degrees on Saturday, it seems, but followed by some rain.
Say again?
Yeah, 13.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
Lies.
I swear, look it up.
Lies and propaganda.
Yeah. So,
The weekend, though, Katina, man, so it's actually usable. That's the
It's
thing,
supposed to
right?
rain, 55% chance of rain, too, so it
need
comes
proof.
with the territory. But people are on full effect on Lakeshore. The runners are out. It is not a money storm today, but the runners are out, and it's an exciting time. I can't wait to get some sun and be out on the Lakeshore because I'm right there and walk the path and everything. Me, yeah, I'm a big runner.
Yeah,
big
him and
runner.
Yanni were running.
Yanni came around. Yanni, Yanni had to
tapped out last year,
tapped out
didn't
a
he?
couple times. Yeah,
tapped out.
Sorry, Yanni. Sorry, we love you, but you tapped out a
I miss
couple
that
of
guy,
times,
bro.
man.
Him
He's
and
good
his
shape.
sweaters.
He's in good shape, though.
Yeah,
He's in
he's
phenomenal
always
shape.
been
Yeah, he's in
back,
phenomenal shape too. So, but yeah, maybe he can hang this year. But your boy likes to go the distance. We were running like it wasn't even anything crazy. I just do the
my
thing.
God.
So I told you before that it's about 2 kilometers to the first workout gym, and then additional to the Jameson outdoor workout gym, and then
Right.
so you're 4 there, and then 4
That's
back.
sick. That's not a bad look
So
at all.
you go in
And
there
you
and
get calisthenics in with
and
the
you get
run. I mean,
cows
that's everything you
in on the
need,
way.
right?
So yeah, and other positive things along that path there, guys. But let's see what's going on here in the TQs. We are starting to break through some key support levels. Katina Man is still short, running through 61.20. So that is the club. What is that? What's funny? I was trying to think of the club name that used to be on the Queen's Quay or the Queen's Quay, whatever it was, the big facility, the government.
Baby.
That's it, government. I don't think, exactly. I don't
That's
think
the club,
Yeah,
bro.
there's no way that Ramin and Fabian would know about the government, but we used to live it up over there. So hey,
Bro, the government, what was that? Sky, what was the rooftop?
Yeah,
orange room, but that was
orange
inside
room.
Katina, man. What was the lounge upstairs called? Sky Bar?
Something. Oh yeah. We used to go there. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, I don't remember, but that was
Nice upstairs and nice patio. Get crazy up there. Yeah.
Good
Be a
time.
big spender like Sharif to get
Oh,
Yeah, to get up there, yeah, you gotta know a couple
definitely
of guys.
I was going out on event nights, baby. $3 drinks.
$3 drinks. That's funny. So the government, for all my Torontonians in the chat, and are old
know
enough
what
to
that
know what
is.
it is,
They know
then they would know. You could get whatever you needed there. But we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. But
Cool House, yes, Dewey.
Let's go. What do you say?
He knows
Cool
about
House,
it.
there
Cool
you
House,
go,
because that was
Dewey.
part of like a subsidiary club in the government, right? Like,
Man, the chaos
oh
outside
my
of that
goodness.
club around 3 a.m. was absolutely insane. So
The cabs,
yeah,
the
everything.
and all like the hot dog vendors,
Oh,
they'd be
dude.
like inundated with drunkards wanting to eat.
I would never forget 1 year Caravana. We were at government, and there were so many people like hoarding this sausage stand. Buddy quit on spot. He's like, I don't get paid enough for this, and quit right on spot. And he said no. He's like, I'm not making any more. Get out of here. It was absolutely hilarious. And my cousin got his sausage, and I was next in line, and that was when he shut it down. That's
the worst.
Yeah, it's
like,
the worst, man. The worst.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's funny. But let's see if we can hop in here, guys, on the TQs. If we can hold the volume weighted average price, then that'll be good. But this is looking like a bearish price action pattern as we run into support levels right now. So it's not going to be a good look for the longs. What we want to see is turn around and some more buying pressure start to step in this underlying here. So again, we push down. We want to see buyers step up, but I'll have to get in at the top of this range for some confirmation, and then we can use the lows as our outs. We'll go a little bit smaller size because we're not going to tap in right in at 61.25. We'll have to wait for that indecision print here in the TQs. Amazon, it seems to be the bearer of bad news today, Sharif. Raining on the old parade, on the rally parade here, unfortunately. But here we go, running into some support. Triple top. I heard Obi and you say that earlier on this. Tapped into 200 multiple times. Sold right off on that news that Adair said something about the Prime membership along those lines. I don't remember. I was going to the washroom. But here we go, climbing higher. Running into the support level here, acting as resistance, and then now heading south of the volume weighted average price. Let's see what Adair is up to.
I want to clarify what this news was because I'm not sure that's necessarily what it sold off on. I think it just dropped to the rest of the market because the news is not in and of itself negative. So basically, CNBC reporting that FTC or Free Trade Commission attorneys have asked a judge to delay the start of its Amazon trial. They're accusing Amazon of deceiving Prime users. Basically, they're saying that they need to delay this because of staffing constraints and other issues. So a delayed trial here would actually seem to be good news for AMZN. Looks like it just dropped to the rest of the market. I just wanted to repeat that catalyst in case you missed it. According to the CNBC, the FTC has asked a judge to delay the start of its Amazon Prime trial. Back to you.
Man, I'm just complaining to the Katina man about the lack of coverage by the major networks of, like, don't bring it to us moments later. We don't want it moments later. The market doesn't care about moments later. It cares about now. We need to know about now. And so these networks just posting, like showing videos of him moments later, that's not what we want, networks. That's why I was kind of jokingly saying earlier, maybe we should have like a news network on YouTube that just covers this guy 24/7. Like, and it would be, I think, good for people who are in the market. They would probably want to have this information live as we do so that when things are tanking, things are popping, we can have an understanding as to why, right? So it's always good to report on 2 cents. Well, that's what we're doing up here. We're taking trades. We're reporting to you guys on what's happening in the market. So Adair said they gave us headlines as it went, but the footage didn't come out until after the fact. I was delivering the headlines throughout as I got them. Adair is killing it at the big desk. We got no complaints with Adair. What I got complaints about is when I look to the right, you know, if I see Donald Trump, at least I'll know that he's talking rather than having to read through a news feed line by line. I think it makes it a little bit easier, but your point well taken, Adair. All right, so we're keeping an eye out on HSAI, still hanging out south of VWAP. I want to say that the current candle setup is putting it at the lows. I'm talking about this candle, bless you. I'm talking about this 5 candle setup right now, all of which have rejected VWAP. None of them, though, are making lower lows. So I am on the lookout here for break and a hold above VWAP. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm still involved in HMR. Did come down a little bit. We did get multiple outs into 85, but that one at 88 still went unfilled. Now the one I'm looking at is GRPN. Where is that one? There it is. So I perceive GRPN to be maybe starting to do that rounding kind of pattern that we saw on HMR. So we definitely have these lower lows, lower highs, and then we come into that 20 exponential at 1350, 1360. And now what I'm looking for is incrementally higher highs and higher lows to give that rounding, that bowl shape. If we get that on GRPN, you better believe I will take this long for that move possibly back into 14 and maybe even better, a move above 14. So here's what I'm going to do. In fact, I'm going to get it long now. And I will put my stop below the area low. That area low, guys, is around 1352. Let me just think about this one for a second. So the deal with this one is it's a little bit shady. And the reason I say that is, we'll have a look at this, right? So if I get long here, what's helping me out in terms of support? There's really nothing. There's a volume weighted average price all the way down at 1314. And there's price action support like at 1320. That's fine. But that's a big gap from where I would get in, say at 13 2/3 and all the way down there. The only thing that could really possibly backstop me is that $0.50. So if I get in here unsure whether we're going to have that curling effect, that bowl effect, it's a little risky. I'm gonna wait a little bit more on GRPN. But what I will do is if I get in, I'm going to be placing my stop below this area right here, 1350, 13, yeah, in and around this, below this candle at 105. That's going to be my move on GRPN, but it's got to set up in the right way. So that's my thinking there. Sadie. What a class act you are. Always impressed how you now. Oh, that's very nice of you, Sadie. I don't know what you're mentioning, what I did, but thank you for the nice comment. I do appreciate you. Refrain, Sharif, if the news doesn't move at the speed of information, it isn't news. Go Hidara. No, Adara, not Hidara. I know what you meant, Adara, but her name is not Hidara. That's a new name for you, Adara. She's down with it. Okay, so you got a receptive ear in her. Shout out to Ref Ronnie. Her name is AD. A-R-A, Adara. We used to call her, I remember before everyone said Adara, some people were saying Adara. Were there? Yeah, Neil was. Oh, Neil has a lot of Katina, man, leave him alone, bro. Remember that Adara? We weren't sure if it was Adara or Adara. And now it's exclusively Adara.
She said it's like mascara.
Yes.
Mascara for your eyes.
Okay, so I remember a different thing. She told me it sounds like Panera.
Panera.
And
Which it also does.
She takes issue with that. But I remember it very specifically, Adara. I know you're the one with the eidetic memory. It's not me. But I remember you saying it sounds like Panera. But Katina Man backing you up there saying you said the whole mascara thing. Shout out to Safe, Sharif, Joe. Any tickers, suggestions to try swings? Seems like there's a lot of discounts in this market. So I don't know, I'm not going to speak for Joseph, but I'm in a wait and see approach right now. I really don't know what to expect from these markets given all the volatility with tariffs and stuff like that, Joseph. So I'm in a holding position.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea too, Sharif. And I think, sorry, Saif is their name. I think you answered your own question as well too. If you think that a lot of these names are at discounts, then don't forget you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Just make sure those risk measures are in place. But I'm in Sharif's camp. I am waiting for a cover rally right now so I can get out of some names and then rotate into some other ones. So again, you need to find something that is setting up for your style and something that you find is going to fit your trade criteria and just run with it. Obviously, just implement risk measures. But I think you answered that question a lot yourself, because if you feel that some of these names are at discounts and are ready for a bounce, then by all means take a shot, take a swing at it.
And the time frame too, Joseph. Like if people are working in, well, he said swing.
Yeah, swing.
Okay, so that kind of
so it's like a
there.
swing. Yeah, you know what I mean. So a swing trade, you're gonna hold on to it for a couple weeks, a month, whatever it may be. And if you think that this market is oversold at this moment, which I feel it slightly is, right, 10, 12% in the Nas and in the S&P, a lot of the Mag 7 down double digits as well too. So if you find something that fits your trade criteria, literally take a swing at it for a swing trade to see if it comes into play and it works out for you. If it doesn't, then you get stopped out.
I agree, and I want to say if you're an investor too and your time horizon is a little bit longer, I mean, I don't want to, this is not financial advice, but if you're bullish, these companies in the long term, as a general rule, it is a good idea to build your position in when there are red days like this, okay?
Yeah. On that. Yeah. Like, but that's an experience thing too, Sharif, right? Like, for just going through a couple bear markets, I told you I started in 22.
Yep.
I didn't know it's like, okay, buy some of these names that are essentially at discounts. You got Google trading at like 18 times forward earnings or something along those lines, and you see that you're down 12, 15% in some of these Mag 7 names. I know a lot of people are going to be buying them up, right? At some point, right? Once you get a little more confidence in the economy, a little less macro data coming in, and you see some more stability, then you're going to start seeing more money funneling back into the names that have been working for them for the past couple of years. So when you're down 13, 14%, don't go all in at once, right? You want to slowly allocate into the position, and that's when you DCA if you're looking to invest for the longer term, and especially in some of these names.
I love hearing that, man. Yeah, that's absolutely accurate there. Guys, we're long CRVO at the volume weighted average price. Let's see if we can get a bounce here. I'm waiting at 41s where we long. 28s is showing me 39s, now 40s. There's a hidden seller. There's definitely an iceberg order here. Here we go. There's really no size posted on the book, and it keeps rejecting 40 and 41. What a random area to reject that. So interesting. Here we go. Boom. We get the fill. So we've got now nice fill on CRVO. VWAP rejection, let's go ahead, or bounce, excuse me. Now we're waiting at 51s, showing me 45s, 48s. All right, so let's see if we can get that. As Joseph was talking, I saw CRVO come down aggressively into VWAP, and I said, you know, this is as good time as any. Let's give this one the old college try. Now I'm waiting at 51s. It's showing me 45s, not forthcoming to the high side quite yet. I don't want to trade this incorrectly, so exactly what I'm going to do is the volume weighted average price is at 519. Let's go ahead and wait there. And oh, here we go with a 50 penny area. So let's go ahead like that. And boom, we take out 50 pennies just like that. All right, so now thank you. And now we're gonna wait up at 77s. Let's see if we can get something around that $0.75. Get it, Katina man. I appreciate you, brother. So we're going to keep an eye out here on CRVO. Great VWAP bounce, waiting now at the $0.75, and now it's showing me 60, so we could be getting close to that 2/3. Still definitely some selling on this one at these levels or size here at 60, but a few hundred lots. That shouldn't be the problem. The problem is these hidden sellers on CRVO, and there we go. We had another hidden seller there at 60s. We'll keep an eye out on that one. The other trade that I'm involved in, got stopped out of HMR. That's all right. We de-risked most of it to the high side up into there. Let's see what the other one is doing. HSAI still going unprinted on this one, man. Despite the fact that it rejected VWAP and we did add into that high 30s area, it is not forthcoming to the downside, though, despite the fact that it started making lower highs and lower lows on each successive 5-minute candle. But I really do need to wrap my mind around some of these small cap gapper shorts. They are not tanking in the way that they skyrocket to the high side. They really do take the escalator down, not the elevator down. That's what it seems to me anyway. I haven't been shorting these small cap gappers since early to mid 2023. So we're definitely going to get our feet under us here with this trade. Back to CRVO, because we still have one out on this one. Still showing me prints in the mid 50s. Nothing to the high side quite yet there. Oh, super chats coming in.
Yeah.
Hey, KB. Shout out to my man KB. $2 super chat. We're going to hit the bang for KB. It's the leg 7 now. LOL. Okay. Hold on. What were you guys calling it? The meh 7?
The meh.
Instead of the mag 7, the meh 7?
Meh 7.
Who? Was that you?
No, it was
Was
not
that
me.
you, Adara? Huh?
Probably me.
Probably you,
The
but you
leg
have an
7.
eidetic memory. You would remember. No.
Yeah, so there you
You
go.
like how I cornered you into that one, huh?
There you go, son.
No, but I don't know. Someone was calling it the meh 7, but yeah, that's a good one too, Joseph. Let's see. We got another super chat over here. Day Trader Cut, one of the chat OGs. $5 super chat. Hey, Sharif. Joe, I need some help on a stock. I keep swinging in and out of the stock, WIFE, W-I-F-E, but every re-entry gets more expensive. Are you making
what
a joke?
Who
I'm not
said
even gonna
that?
type
Who
in the
said
ticker.
that? Yeah,
I'm not gonna even
I
type
was
in the
about to,
ticker.
but then as you continue to read, I'm like, I see where he's
That
going
wife
at here.
one?
That wife, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way there's
Yeah,
a ticker
you're
called
hey,
wife that I
we're
don't
all
know
in that
about.
boat. It's,
Nice try, Day Trader Cut. But I do like that. Okay,
W-I-F-E, yeah, expensive.
I've never been married, so I
Trading
have
at
no
50
idea.
Trading at 50 times forward earnings.
Well, there you go. I know that Katina Man spends a ton of money on
there
family,
you go.
kids, sports. Obviously, he's taking family outings. I know Neil does the same, so it looks pricey, Joseph.
Yeah, hey, oh yeah,
It
I
looks
guess it
pricey,
does.
Joseph.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's always good times when you're single, your meal costs about $12.99 or whatever it be, but then when you're in a relationship, somehow it's $100, and it's just like, how did he even get to those levels?
Oh,
But
boy.
Michael's Limo says, sorry man, but not the case necessarily with all the companies, even at these discounts, are not discounts. They're still trading way above what they are worth. And I respect that you don't necessarily agree with what we have to say.
Ooh.
So, no, I respect this. We'll just agree to disagree. And I think that some of these names are at relatively good prices. The earnings is supporting it. And I'm going to stick with that, right? You still see some moderate growth in some of these names. Again, we know that iPhone sales in China are down, but services are up, right? So that balances each other up. Then you have Netflix with doubling the amount of subscriptions year over year. That's a positive sign as well, too. Are they a part of the Make 7? Not necessarily. That was more a FANG, but different name. But some of these tech stocks with NVDA still growing as well, too. So again, not at the rate it was before, but still growth within the company. So there's a debate to be had about that. So that's just my opinion. I think that there is still some ways to go. I think NVDA is going to continue to grow. Netflix is going to continue to grow. We're streaming live sports now. They got WWE. You can catch the hockey games now. I watched my first Leaf game in a while the other night on Amazon for free. I didn't even know you could do that. That was pretty cool. So I think there's a lot of room for these names to grow, even though there's still some economic turmoil.
All right, I just got to. I want to show a video, but I just want to set up my stop on CRVO because it is coming back down. Let me just. I gotta clean up these stops, bro. Jeez, Louise, GRPN, HSAI. Jeez, my God, I have a lot of unfilled stops. Okay, so we do have a stop on CRVO. It is for the incorrect amount of shares. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right there. We're gonna give that about 508. Okay. All right, guys. So you guys, I love my English cars.
Ooh,
right?
What do we got here?
And so we talked a
this
lot
is Jag.
of smack about Jag and their launch into EVs. It looked really silly, and I was wondering what the hell they were doing. But I gotta tell you, Joseph,
thing
this
looks
one over
wicked.
here. Can we show this, Andre? Yeah, no problem. This one is really getting that color. This is the new Jag Type 00. Okay, obviously Type 00. We're talking about 007 likely.
Bang.
I don't know if this is going to be the actual look of the car or we're still very much in the super prototype phase, but I don't know. What do you feel about this?
I like that car.
I like this car.
I like that car a
Okay,
lot.
I think they completely botched the launch.
Yeah.
But this is a bad-ass car. Are
It
you
is bad.
kidding me right now?
That thing looks pretty
Let's
sweet.
look at the inside. It's right-hand drive, obviously.
Jeez.
Well, it's not. It's left-hand drive. This is in Paris. So they're.
Who's
this is
that,
on-
Barry?
I don't know who this is,
That's
man.
Barry Keoghan, man.
Do you know him?
Yeah, well, I don't know him, but
Well,
you know.
yeah, you know what I mean. Where's I don't want to see the dude, man. Where's the car at? There we go. That's a good looker right there, man. So I don't know how you guys
So
feel
there was
about
no one
that.
even driving it there. Is it?
I
didn't see
think
anybody
somebody
in the
came out from the other side.
Oh, did
but
they? I
we
didn't see anybody. I only seen Barry himself there. You never seen the movie Saltburn? That's a good one.
Let's see what everybody. I don't even know what that. Adara knows what it is because she
Adara, you
reacted
like
quite
Saltburn?
aggressively there, but she's been traumatized by the Saltburn car or guy. Let's see what people are talking about in the chat. That's clean, says Day Trader Cut. Super Quant Roblox collab. Yeah, it does seem like a Roblox car. Not that I've ever played Roblox. Oh my God, Brick, awful, says Jetsum. Bongzilla, not ready for it. I respect that. Patrick Riley, CGI. It's actually not CGI. These guys were on the streets of Paris. It's everywhere. People will vandalize this thing, says Jack B. Nimble. I like the name, by the way. Patrick Riley doesn't even look real. I promise you it is. Saul G, doors open too slow. Agree. Got to be way faster than that. Escape Planet reminds me of a Bentley. Okay. Chime time. So that is what Jaguar actually wants to do. Believe it or not, they want to leave that category of like Mercedes, BMW, Audi. They want to be that Bentley,
That upper
that
echelon.
Aston Martin. They go into that. How you do it, and if you can do it, an entirely different story. But that's what they're going for, Joseph.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that car is pretty cool. It looks really, really neat. And it looked like it was dry. There was no one in the driver's seat. So autonomy, maybe 101. I like that vehicle. Will I be buying it? Maybe, probably not. But
It's gonna be pricey. Too.
yeah, it's definitely going to be pricey. Stevenson, we're already in the Playmaker. I don't know if we hit any targets. I don't have Spy up on me right now. I don't know if we got stopped out or whatever it may be here. I'll have to crunch some numbers later, but we already did all the documentation for it. Our target is 561, and we have a stop of 558.31, so we haven't got stopped out yet. We're now trading around 560, so we need another $1.30 roughly in order to hit that 2-to-1 there on the Spy there, guys. So yeah, looking pretty good. You know what, Shreve? I'm kicking myself a little bit here on this TQ trade because the market has been relatively strong here, especially with this this relief rally, but I didn't get back into the trade multiple times when I should have. There's 2 times I could have got back into the exact same trade, one being here at the failed new high, and then another test with some indecision candles as well, and then once we crack that downtrend, hopefully this holds, and then maybe go and test that 62.20 once again. But multiple entries missed on this name, and that's unfortunate. I'm looking at Apple hovering around the volume weighted average price, and I'm like, is this gonna start to get the ball rolling? I just don't think it is just yet, unfortunately, but that's okay. If momentum and volume does step in, then we'll look to participate at the break of VWAP. But I mentioned 210, there's a high level of open interest, so we might not be going anywhere too fast in AAPL. And Google as well, trading a lot better, as high as 167, so that's a good name for my second largest holding in the account. A nice pullback, some indecision candles right here at the lows. I tried to swing around here, I think roughly, and it just didn't work out. Cracked through, and then we continued that southeast price action here in Alphabet. So antitrust not looking too good here for Google. Yeah, not too good there in Google. But yeah, guys, holding these levels nicely in TQQ. We're gonna look for a base. I don't have anywhere to definitively put my stop, right? I would have to put it in mid-range, and I don't necessarily want to do that. I want to find a base. So if we get a pullback and a hold of this downtrend line here, Sharif, I'm gonna hop in some TQs.
All right, I'm still involved with CRVO, and let me talk a little bit about this one. So we've got one out left, and we were waiting at 77s. This thing came up to 72s, and it's putting a really precarious candle involved right now on the 5. So what you're looking at on the white charts here, that's the 5. And I don't like the look of this hammer candle or inverse hammer candle right now. Let's see if it closes as an inverse hammer candle, or does it end up being a doji. The point is, this, to me, feels like a failed break. We're putting in higher lows, we're putting in higher highs, and then it kind of just loses the bid. Now, having said all that, it still is far away from my entry. So I've given my stop here a couple of shekels south of my entry. So it'll have to breach this area low for me to get stopped out. Now the question for me is, if it comes back into 520 and then holds, do I add? That's always a question that I always ask myself and that I struggle with the most. Adding into winning positions. It's a psychological block. It's not something that I have trouble understanding from a technical sense. It's just about not wanting to give back profits and then have it come against you. So it's entirely psychological for me, but I do see the areas where sometimes it's warranted to add and I don't add. That's me, and I will look to improve on that. But the point is, we're kind of caught, I'm caught between two minds right now. Whether to move down my beak wetter to kind of get the fill and then want to reload back at the low, or to leave it and get stopped out. So I'm just going to let this one cook and come what may. Let's go back to that HSAI trade. We got the fill there at 18s. Happy with this one. We did add into this one, believe it or not, into the short when it came back into VWAP, rejected VWAP, and then down it goes again. I'm still keeping my eye on HSAI though, because the pattern that I want to see consistently off that VWAP rejection is lower highs and lower lows. If I start seeing higher highs and higher lows at VWAP, then I am concerned that we'll recover VWAP, and then that's where I don't want to trade it, right? So keeping my eye here on HSAI, I'm still quite, I'm keeping my next beak wetters at a very lofty area of below 22. In fact, 2170s. I don't think I'll get that, to be quite honest with you, unless the bottom really drops off. So I'm keeping my eye on CRVO, HSAI. I did get forced out of, sadly, HMR, but that one is kind of doing nothing right now. In fact, it's putting in lower highs, so maybe I don't feel all that bad for getting out of this one. The one that I just can't get a read on right now is GRPN. I keep looking for this rounding effect, and none is forthcoming at the moment. So if we get higher highs and higher lows above that 70 penny area, then I could get involved. But right now, I don't like it. Dara, you're killing me, bro. She can't help herself. Are you keeping your HSAI on it? Yes, I am, Adara. I am absolutely doing that. Shout out to you. She can't help but pun, even when she's at the big desk. And she didn't want to yell it out. So courteous is she. She had to throw it into the chat, Joseph.
Dang.
That's a look at that.
That's the look. All right, yeah, finish.
Drops trades. CRVO, low volume. I'm assuming you're talking about low volume in the current candle setup, because CRVO on the day has 120 million shares in a $5 name. So it's not a bad look. But I see what you're saying with respect to the current volume profile. It's certainly down and to the right. We are lessening in the amount of volume that we've been putting, and we've been doing that all day. I think I can show it a little bit more clearly on the black charts. So let's zoom in over here. And this is, I think, your point, drops trades, is that if you kind of draw a trend line on the volume bars, which you can, yeah, it's down and to the right, with the exception of this bad boy right here, which took us into that 640 high day. So it was an outline. The Katina man is short Apple at these levels. Say it again. He just put it in the chat right now. 218.25. Hey, okay. 218.18. Get it, Katina man. The Katina man short Apple, looking for that area rejection. So 218.25 on the dead one Apple. Let's flip over here so I can kind of make my point. On AAPL, you can kind of see 218 25 does come in right over here. We reject, make higher lows, come right back in. It looks like it's rejecting the 50 exponential on the 5. It's not really moving its way back up to VWAP, Katina, man. So good entry there for you guys, or for you. Yeah, it does seem to me, at least for intraday, Apple is using the 50 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart as resistance. Back below 218 right now, Joseph. We'll have to see how this cookie crumbles.
Ooh. Nice one there.
Hey.
Yeah. So this is. I want to get into some NVDA here, guys. As the market slowly starts to drag higher, the thing is though, I don't want to buy the top of the range, right? Because I want to ask you guys, where am I going to put my stop here, right? I can't put it in the middle of the range because you can see that price has just been consistently trading through it. So I need to put my stop all the way near at the bottom of the range. And what is that? If I enter at the top of it, 1621. So that's about 80 cents. A little bit more there. So that's not an ideal type stop loss. What I want to do is catch the bottom of the range and then look to see if it can break through it, or mid-range that will help my risk to reward or something along those lines, right? So if I were to be in this right now, I'm already 20 cents out the money from just buying the top of it. So I got to wait for it to come mid-range or even closer to the bottom of the range and then hold those specific levels. One thing that I will note that is positive, as you can see, we are constructing higher lows. That is something that is a good sign for this setup because we have been consolidating for quite some time, right? So over about, let's see, 5, 10, 15, over close to an hour in this range here, guys. So we're going to hold off. If it looks like it wants to slowly curl over and then come back to the top side and then even go and test the high day, sorry about these dark pool prints, but this is what we would want to go for, right? So you can see that we have the high day around 1682. If we got in at 1620, we can potentially catch a 60-cent move. And if we want to crack through that past that 2 p.m. hour, then we can tap into about 117, 118 even, I think, in this name. We're up 6.6% on it. So that's a good recovery here in NVDA. I believe it can drag the Qs up along with it. And that's what we need. I say it all the time, guys. We need the top names to participate. Look what happens when they don't. Market breadth is great, but when you have a handful of companies that have so much market capitalization that are heavily weighted in the S&P that equate to over 30-40% of it, then they're going to drag it and they're going to follow what's going on in the overall market. So that. Waiting for this to come in around 515.42. We'll grab the bottom of the range. If it cracks through VWAP, that's it. But we can put in a 10 to like 20 cent stop at that point, just in case there's any form of liquidity grabs or anything along those lines. I know Katina Man is short Apple. It is continuously rejecting the volume weighted average price, so that is something that we need to keep a note of. And yeah, BBAI is the new Palantir, says Aldrin. Okay, that's a little bit of a hot take. I don't think Palantir's dead just yet, Sharif. Is he right? Okay. All right, he's right. Never mind. Hey, forget Palantir, says Katina Man. We're now on the Big Bear. Ever. Never forget that. But guys, we got some bills to pay here.
New traders, listen up. First month, it's free. That's right. We're waiving the fees. You get to trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to Elite. You'll be able to analyze, strategize, and then hopefully after all that, you'll capitalize on their platform, which has everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with better backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now, if and only if you're ready to elevate your trading. Scan that QR code or check the link in the description. Shout out to people who know how to read without making mistakes like that. Literacy, shout out to literacy, which I clearly don't have. No, guys, we're still involved in HSAI. We got the print there as it broke below 20s, but it's still continuing to put lower lows and lower highs. So I'm thinking maybe the right idea here is to not be so lofty with my beak waters below 22. I think I'm going to move them up. At least one of them, that is. We're going to put it in the low 22 single digits. But for now, we're going to keep it exactly at the second one, that is, going to stay below 22 there. Now, I've been watching also CRVO. It keeps putting in lower highs despite the fact that it's still above my entry. I am quite concerned with this one. This one does feel like it's going to give up the ghost. The lower highs are what's operative for me here. So we'll keep an eye on CRVO. I don't want to add into this position, especially with the umpteen amount of lower highs that keeps coming in. If we can get the fill to the top side, then maybe we can discuss a little bit of a different look on this one. I told you I picked up some BCAAs yesterday.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah,
picked up the BCAAs.
Nice.
Now we're going to do the summer cycle. On to the creatine, doing the loading phase right now.
Oh, okay,
so I'm going to do 5 grams in the morning, 5 grams at night, 2 weeks. ChatGPT told me to do 20 to 25 grams for 4 to 7 days. I didn't want to do that because I felt like that might be a little bit of pressure on my liver.
Maybe.
Right? So I'm like, let me spread it out. Let me spread out the loading phase over 2 weeks. I'll do 10 grams. That'll be decent. Then we'll flip to that 5. Now, when I go down to 5, I'm thinking of actually splitting it 2.5.
That's fair.
Just to keep it
Right.
the bloodstream or the levels in the bloodstream kind of even.
That's valid.
Right? I'm throwing it in. So the loading phase, taking it in the morning with the protein after the session at 5, and then I threw it in with the BCAAs to drink during the session. So.
And that's funny. So I was off of the creatine for about a month or so too, Sharif, and then I hopped back on it a couple weeks, about a month ago, maybe roughly. And there's a definitive notice. Like I can definitely notice my rep intake, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So it's so much easier to hit and exceed those reps. It's like, okay, yeah, you're struggling at like 10, 15 reps, we'll call it. But then it's like 15, that's it. Okay, I'm going to continue to go. And I think that's where you could kind of gain that muscle.
I agree
and get the water
100%
on
with
top of
that.
So it's definitely a rep thing.
Yeah, and I haven't been on creatine in years and years. The Katina man telling me basically split it up. I agree 100% with that, brother. I mean, I definitely don't want to damage the bod. So we're definitely going to take it easy. X Baines, does creatine mess up with the hair? No, creatine is not a hormone. Right? It is not like a male hormone like testosterone replacement therapy or anything like that. So it's not going to have an effect on DHT. Dihydrotestosterone is the chemical that binds to the hair follicle that makes it fall, right? So it doesn't affect DHT whatsoever. So the answer to that is no.
Your body also like organically, but you naturally produce creatine as well too.
Of course. And you get it in food. Like you get it in steak, you get it in obviously all these other proteins. Apparently the loading phase is unnecessary, says Roof Ninja. I don't know. I was just basically going on what chat told me. I explained to chat what I was. I'm like, okay, I'm an advanced lifter. This is what I've been doing. I haven't been taking anything. But I gave it like my full bio, and then it spat out that 4 to 7 day loading cycle, which I wasn't a fan of. So I'm going to just kind of do it on my own. And apparently you don't even need to get off creatine. You can be on it perennially. Yeah. I always thought you had to do 6 weeks on, 6 weeks off for the liver. Apparently that's not the case anymore. No. Say that again, Andre. Yeah, exactly. Andre is echoing the same thing that I'm saying. His nutritionist told him it's not necessary to cycle on and cycle off. Yeah. So we'll see exactly how that goes. We'll report to you guys, obviously. Mark Westhoff, yes, I'm talking about creatine and branched chain amino acids. Claw feed, creatine is the best supplement, hands down. It's also the most studied supplement. Yeah. Apparently the most studied supplement ever. Yeah, that's what everybody keeps saying. I mean, we can check it with chat. But yeah, I kind of like that. So that way you're not.
That's really I got a couple years worth for like $60 last year. Yeah, and I was on it for consistently for a full year, and the results are pretty good.
And you're good. You don't have any liver issues.
Nothing
like that, right?
Maybe I don't know if it sped up the old hair loss there, but
it doesn't, bro. It doesn't do anything. Stop saying that. Right? Thomas.
Hey man, listen, you got a full nice mop up there. I don't got a good salad anymore, man.
Thomas goes on to say, creatine requires water like crazy, and you shouldn't do it when it's hot outside. I drink up a storm. Thank you for that. You're absolutely right. It also helps with absorption. If you don't take as much water, you don't get as many benefits from it. So, Thomas, I agree completely with you there. Ross Hansen, I have my MS in Masters of Science, I'm assuming, in exercise physiology. You can take creatine indefinitely, and you can get more benefits from taking the standard 5-gram dose as a larger person. Really? Okay, that's really interesting to know. Thank you for letting me know that, man. That's when you guys chime in with your expertise, I really do love it. I do really appreciate it because you're getting information from people rather than chat. Let's see, Just Brad. In high school, we would go do bench press in study hall, and we would load like 10, or we would load like 6, 10 pounds or whatever on each side and do 10 reps and take one off each side. And again, by the time it's just the bar, yeah, that's called drop sets, brother. And those are sick for building up endurance. So that's not a bad look there whatsoever. The OG Darwin, DJ2, oh, he's talking to somebody else. Okay. Vecna, breakout. I break out when I'm on creatine. That's actually interesting. I've never actually heard anybody break out on creatine. You would assume that it has an effect on your hormone levels. Maybe it does, because it's anabolic in a sense, and then maybe it ends up having an effect on your hormones.
Maybe. I've never had an issue with that, that I know of anyway.
Neither have I.
Guess, so.
What's going on here? Yeah, probably closer to that. Day trader cut. Do you guys think the Fed will cut next Wednesday with this good inflation data we got today? I doubt it, my man. I doubt it. Now, a lot of people were talking about, having to do kind of like a preemptive cut in case the tariffs have a negative effect on the GDP. I don't know. We're going to have to see, man. But they've been kind of keeping that close to their chest, saying that, we're going to be data dependent, this, that, and the other. Well, we got the data today. And which way did it go? So, yeah. What are you looking at, Joe?
Yeah, I'm here at in NVDA, guys. I'm not in it just yet, but I'm thinking that I want to try to grab the bottom of this range. One thing that I like is that we don't have too much downward momentum. That can be a positive sign, but I want to get a specific price, so I'm going to post up around 1563, I think. So 1563, I'm going to post up and see if we can catch a fill. As we start to come in on that momentum, looking like it might want to step on the downside, so maybe I'll be a little bit more patient on pulling this trigger here. But I do want to grab the bottom of this range. Maybe 1551 is going to be a better price, but so I'll go in between that and go 58s or go 57s just for the dream. And then we're going to post up there to see if we can catch a fill around that area. And then maybe we can just range trade NVDA before it breaks down. And that's the thing, right? So I'm going to be in at 51, it looks like relatively shortly. But if we break 42s, then I'm just going to get out of the trade. Why? Because that's what it's telling me. This is my risk profile. And if we break the support system that's currently holding structure right now, then I'll just get out, because then maybe it'll come into the volume weighted average price, and then that way you can just get a totally better price. I'm not going to hold too many shares on this position. I didn't post too much. Once it starts working, then I'll continue to add into it. So if this comes into support and acting as it kind of is right now, then that's going to be a positive signal. But what I would need in order for me to add into this position is a break of the range with volume stepping in and momentum. So nice little dip buy into there. We're about 10 cents in the money right now, which isn't too much. I didn't put on very many share sizes because I want to get a little bit, I'm going to go half risk first, and then once the thesis starts working, then I'll go into full risk, but that will also raise my stop as well too. So if I take a loss on this trade, I'm only losing half an R. So a half a risk unit on this trade. I like this for a possible dip buy and the hold of these key support levels, Sharif.
Shout out to Willis Addison. Thank you very much, Willis, for the $2 super chat. He goes on to say, guys, all you need is CMOS in unison with creatine. So I actually hadn't heard what CMOS is. This is what it is, Andre. What is CMOS? Irish moss. Apparently CMOS, also known as Irish moss or red seaweed, is a type of seaweed that grows year-round in tidal pools and inlets found along the coastline. Was it good for, though, Joseph? So CMOS commonly harvested. Okay, it showed me over here. It basically said CMOS is a vegan, gluten-free source of many nutrients, including vitamin B2, calcium, magnesium, and zinc. So let's go to chat, see what chat has to say about this. Is it a good idea to use CMOS with creatine? We're going to find out when we get back from Adara.
And some of these prison stocks here, including GEO and CXW, NBC reporting that the Department of Homeland Security says their immigrant detention centers are at capacity, and they've reached out to other agencies to find more space. So here's GEO here, near days highs. Prison stocks on watch right now. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Willis Addison, ChatGPT agrees with you. Yes, combining CMOS with creatine can be beneficial depending on your goal, and here's why. Potential benefits of combining CMOS: improve hydration, enhance muscle recovery, nutrient support, gut health. Things to consider, though, if you're sensitive to iodine, Dosage matters apparently, and hydration is key. I'm obviously summarizing that very briefly here. I will be looking into that. Thank you for that, Addison. I didn't even know what this was. Did you?
CMOS, I've heard of it, yeah, but
Okay.
I've never tried it or anything along those lines. My brother used to take it. My older brother used to take CMOS. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay. So then, did he have good?
He's good. Yeah, he's good at it. Well, I don't know. I don't think he wasn't on it long enough, but he tried it a couple times. So yeah.
Everybody's chiming in here, Joseph. Pathek. I've been taking Shilajit, the pure form, from which is a black tar. You put it in hot water or milk, working great. Also, the gummies that have CMOS, Shilajit and Ashwagandha, I forget how to say it. Pug Life. You can get the same benefits from Celtic salt as CMOS. Interesting. This is great stuff, man. Yeah. You guys are killing it today. Why not just take multivitamin pills, the Piper? Good question. I don't think that they're mutually exclusive things. I think you can take creatine and multivitamins, right? They're kind of for different purposes. Willis Addison, it's loaded. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Willis. It's loaded in minerals, vitamins. It is undefeated, 100%.
Oh, okay.
Stevenson, round top on NVIDIA. Let's look. Let's get back to trading here, Joseph.
Yeah, let's do
let's bring it in from the side chart and have a look at our friend NVDA. Yes, absolutely. There we go. We get into that predictable level of resistance that we got into earlier, and now we're putting in those lower lows and lower highs. That 116.50, well called out, my man. Shout out to Stevenson. Yeah, that does look good, and I think a possible retracement into the volume weighted average price is quite reasonable. That 115 area could be money for the short. Obviously, that's not advice. You're going to have to execute based upon your own observations. Pug Life. Ionized salt does the same thing, but you can't use that if you're prone to hypertension. My old man has hypertension, but we live completely different lifestyles, him and I. And we have lived different lifestyles. He was not really an exercise guy. And I actually went to his cardiologist, Joseph. And the funny thing is, his cardiologist doesn't take any new patients. But when I told him he looked at me like a science experiment. He's like, let me get this guy in there, see how he compares to his old man, right? So I was able to weasel in that way, and then everything was all right. So.
Nothing like Brian John, you can be a blood boy, I guess.
Blood boy.
Blood boy. But yeah, here we go, guys. Back into the markets here, Sharif. I like that you pointed out. No, don't. What do you say? Don't apologize. I like that you pointed out. I want to touch on this because you pointed that out, and I forget who you mentioned in the chat. Said, hey, rounded top here on NVDA, and I started to take a deeper look. So you can see that we were constructing lower highs here throughout this whole price action print, and then when you said rounded top and multiple eyes are like, hey, this might curl over, I just got out before it even came to my break even, and I would have got stopped out as well too. So a little bit of a profit there. We didn't catch the top of the range, and that's okay because we might be able to find an entry here around VWAP, Sharif.
All right. CRVO actually went into 77s, and that's exactly where I'm waiting. As you can see there, it topping tailed right into my my exit. It didn't fill because it didn't cross. So that is kind of annoying for me, but that's all right. It's still putting in higher lows right now. So CRVO defending the volume weighted average price essentially at 5 1/4, 5 1/5. That's exactly where I got involved. I got involved at 28. It has been incrementally putting in higher lows. Is by no means parabolic like it was during the earlier trading day. In fact, it's kind of, as someone pointed out earlier, the volume has really been dropping off substantially here on CRVO. And here it comes back down into the 40s again. So we're going to have to pack our patience or flatten out on this one. The other trade that we've got involved is this HSAI short. Nothing doing here. It seems like it's going to straddle VWAP and kind of just hang out near there, which is fine. I'll flatten out on this bad boy if we get off the show in about 8 minutes without having taken a fill. I've got 2 more outs left on HSAI. Doesn't look like they're in a fill, which is fine. Stevenson, does those creatine mess with your heart? I've been working out for 3 years now, and I never take anything. I can look better, but I don't think it messes with your heart at all. Now, I don't want to give you medical advice. Obviously, you're going to have to check with your physician, but nothing that I know that's like a psychostimulant or increases your heart rate or anything like that from creatine, but you may have a different nuance for me. So you should probably check with your practitioner. Did my father smoke in the past? Eddie, yes. But he quit like 20 years ago, but you do the damage, baby. That's just kind of how it works there. And he also, you know, like he He was a bit heavier than me when he was younger. He also didn't have the healthiest diet growing up. They didn't know a lot back then, though. So I don't want to.
Yeah, the spam.
Yeah, bro. They didn't know
I think
right?
spam is the most disgusting thing on the planet. Sorry to offend anybody.
Yeah, I don't eat it.
So I've never spam.
Spam, the Katina
I
man.
could barf. Like, who would eat something called spam?
Dara almost threw up right now.
Yeah, I will barf.
Guys, that short on NVIDIA, whoever called that out, that is money. NVIDIA round to top. Beautiful look. Where's my chart? Oh, we got the fill on CRVO. So we're happy about that one. That's the end of the trade there on CRVO. Let's look at NVDA, though, because that's really kind of the look right now. NVDA on the NQ. We're talking about that. I think we were talking about it at like 70 something. It just dipped down right there in the 13s. The Katina man short Apple as well. He's yelling about Apple. It's a fantastic look there. Great trade, Katina man. It broke down again off that 218.18 that short that he had. We were calling that out earlier, 218.25. It's a you know what I mean. Down into 217 we go. But Katina man, we found support earlier at 217, so this could be an interesting area here. In the same way that we found resistance at 218.25. So AAPL headed down. Here we go with NVIDIA, that 115 area at the volume weighted average price. Looks like it's going to hit right now as the market comes back down again. We're talking about the NQ moving back down. The NQ's back at VWAP, guys, at 16 or 19,620. Adara, tell us something.
I will tell you guys something. Be aware of the market dropping here, and actually Q's near previous support from, I guess this is about an hour ago now. Basically, JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon has said, quote, I'm seeing some weakening in the economy and negative sentiment, and added that tariffs are causing uncertainty. These comments were on my blotter a couple minutes ago, but the market really dropping now. So I think it's worth noting that Jamie Dimon expressing some uncertainty about the market, specifically with regards to how tariffs are moving things around. Back to you.
Who's this Jamie Dimon guy?
Who is Jeremy? Jeremy.
His name's Jeremy, Adara.
Jeremy. Yeah, there it goes. Still short the TQs.
It lost VWAP, Joseph. Show him.
Large lost VWAP here, guys. You can see that we put in this double top as well too here, Sharif. So nice wick here, nice touch here, double top type price action here, and now we're gonna break out the base of this as well too. So I'm
trouble?
just. Pardon me.
Any trouble?
Any trouble? Oh yeah, all about that base. About that base. No trouble. What song is that? Oh, that's crazy.
I don't know what they're saying it though.
I'm just talking. I'm talking to Ramin in there. She said she got some cereal for me as well too. I'm trying to figure out what kind it is. That's jokes.
This is the weirdest Wednesday I've ever.
Yeah, weird Wednesday,
I
baby.
don't know what it is, bro.
Yeah, there we go. Q's breaking through. The momentum to the downside is continuing, Sharif. It's honestly sell any pop at this moment. But the one positive note is that you see buyers really start to step back in here into these markets, guys. As you can see, we rallied really, really nice here. Nice rally at that CPI print. I thought that would be a data point that could turn things around for the short term, maybe. And it's looking like it kind of is right now. So it's still positive, even though we are drastically selling. I'm glad we got out of this NVDA trade. You can see we took a small scalp on this one and then just broke through the bottom, and then now punching through the volume weighted average price. Volume picking up on the lower time frames as well too, guys, so that's going to be something to note. So yeah, just be patient, wait for those setups to come in. The volatility is in full effect. We'll pull up the VIX real quick and then send it back to my guy. I don't know why I always do that, because you always have to type in the index here on this platform. So here we go. So nice look here on the VIX. You're going to slowly start to pick things back up here, guys. So you can see throughout the early hours this inverse correlation between the VIX and the overall market. As we rally here, the VIX slowly starts to cool off. We tapped into 30 the other day, I believe, from a daily standpoint, and then now pulling back a little bit. So volatility stepping down because it was heightened, but I do believe that it can pick a little bit of steam back up here, guys. We got, what is it, PPI tomorrow, I believe it is. PPI. So yeah, just wait for that, guys. Don't hold any positions. Wait for those prints to come out and see which way the market brings you.
All right, so shout out to Big C. I'm not going to say your name because we can't. But shout out to Big C, Sharif. LOL, my government name is Thaddeus Cox. Am I saying that? Thaddeus? Thaddeus.
Thaddeus.
Thaddeus. Okay.
Greek, maybe.
I got the nickname as a child. Great show from the wife and I. Thank you very much, my man. I see you every day in the chat, and we shout you out. But we can't say the full name, but I get it. Thank you for the explanation. Do appreciate that. Shout out to you, my man. I really do appreciate the explanation there. There's another individual there, Sharham. He wants me to look at Zena. Z-E-N-A is the ticker. This is my best friend's sister's name, by the way. Shout out to Zena. Now, hey, Adira shouting you out as well. So this is a good look here, guys, for Zenit. Higher highs, higher lows. It's not the biggest mover on the day, but it is the number 2 gapper after CRVO, at least subsequent to the bell. Up 42.25% since that bell rung. We closed out yesterday at 280. There isn't a whole lot to say about this other than it has higher highs and higher lows. Seems to be respecting generally that volume weighted average price. But on occasion, you do have these candles that breach a level and then tank right back down. So you have to account for that. The range per candle at the extremes is quite wide. And, you know, take profits quickly with this one. That's what I would say. Either have your profit levels already earmarked by having resting profit takers up there, so when the price spikes up, you get filled, and have a bit of more of a nuanced stop loss placement. Because if you keep your stops too tight, when the range per candle is quite wide, you end up giving back when you don't need to give back. So shout out to you. I've been looking at Zena literally all day, but it was just really not setting up. What's going on over there, Katina, man?
We're at the government. We're at the government now.
Oh, he's at the government.
We're at the government.
All right, guys, I think we have like another minute left on the show. I just wet the beak there quickly on HSAI, Joseph. I've got one more beak wetter on this one. I'm going to let this one cook while I'm at the green screen. If I can get the print south to 22, I'll be pleased as dang punch. I literally waited 3 hours for this print, bro. You know, we've been trading this essentially since we started the show. Let's see if we can get it. Any final thoughts for everyone?
Yeah, I got a nice little thing here, guys. So what we're gonna do here, just follow along. We only got a couple seconds left. Sharif, I want you to follow along as well, too. If we can get the double shot here, it's simple exercise. I want everybody to raise their hand. You gonna raise your hand? Yeah. All right, now raise it a little higher. There you go. Now ask yourself, why didn't you give it 100% the first time?
Oh. Obi's not giving it 100%.
Obi, I seen Obi did. I seen Obi did.
Joe just left. He's like, yo, I'm leaving.
It, man.
He just got up. He walked away.
I'm done.
He's like,
hungry.
no, this is not good enough for me, bro. All right, so I'm gonna send it off. All right, Katina man, Katina man, you were making efforts there.
There you go.
But I gotta. Obi's effort was a little suspicious there. I think you're gonna need to. You need to talk to him there, Katina man.
Extra buying power so I can.
He keeps extra buying power so he can get some on the dip. All right, we're having a great time, guys. It was a really interesting day today on the show, but the big kahunas are waiting for you at the next desk. Joseph and I will see you guys tomorrow, same bat time, same bat time.
I'm with Katina man tomorrow.
And then Obi's over here?
No, Obi's not here. I think it's A with you tomorrow.
Adara, you're on?
No one talked to me.
Wait, you're on.
Do it. All right, guys, we're gonna figure this out. They're over there.
Bye.
He's by himself, man. We you know, you gotta do the whole show by himself, man. He can handle with that one.